Hey, what's up? It's Anthony. Can't come to the phone right now. You leaving? Hello?
Hi, can I speak to Anthony DeBlasi, please?
Yeah, it is Anthony DeBlasi. Who's this?
Yo, it's Anthony DeBlasi. What's going on, man?
No, not much. How you doing?
Can't complain. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
You getting ready for Raw tonight?
Yeah. I really don't want to watch it, but I got to do the fucking show later. And, I can't make these marks think that, I don't watch any wrestling. I mean, it's bad enough with all that bullshit on TNA,
Tell me about it. So anyway, listen, can you do me a favor? Could you lend me a pair of pants?
I almost forgot to unmute myself here. Listen, before anybody gets mad and says, wait a minute, DT thinks we're marks, that is some awful audio that I recorded back in 2003, 18 years ago. I was going through hard drives last week, trying to find some funny, entertaining stuff, some stuff that people haven't heard in 20 years, and that popped up. I don't remember recording it. Talking to myself. Who's the goof? Anyway, I got to thank Mark. Go figure. Mark. Thank you, Mark. Sent me this mug. A few of you out there have been asking me for the last couple of months, DT, why don't you have like an Amazon wish list? So we could send you stuff. I don't feel comfortable, man. I mean, I appreciate all of your support. My God, I appreciate all the generosity by you out there. And, it helps pay the bills, obviously, and it helps all the expenses, too. And I try to give back to the shows. But, maybe if I had bazoombas that came out to here, or if I was a little bit younger, maybe I would do something like that. I just don't. I feel awkward. I felt so awkward in December that one of my most loyal supporters, it goes back with me 20 years, and maybe, entertaining him for 20 years, maybe it is considered a good trade-off, but he's like, look, I want to get you something to help you with your keto diet. Like, what do you want? And I'm like, nah, I don't want none. He's like, there's got to be an appliance that you're looking for. And I was like, well, I'm looking to get this grill. I said, if you really insist, you could get me like an attachment that doesn't come with it. Son of a bitch sent me everything. And I felt so guilty after. So, believe me when I tell you, James Earl Cash says, if I had those big bazookas. No, it's bazoombas. Zumba. Bazoombas. With my, I don't think, when I was a lot heavier, some people used to say, you got any milk in those titties? I used to get those jokes. By the way, Joey Dollars, welcome back, my friend. I know he hasn't been here for a while, and there is legit coffee in here. Obviously, this show on Thursdays, they're all your shows. But today, it's different because the only notes I have in front of me is for the contest later to give away this. I know it's in a plastic, so if it looks glossy, that's why. It is autographed by Charlotte. It is JSA authenticated, so you know it's the real thing. It's oversized. And what I love about it the most is it caused controversy online because everybody says that Bayley is the first ever Grand Slam champion. WWE used to think otherwise a couple of years ago. So I only have ratings here. and the hints for the contest. Now, if anybody has like a 90-inch TV, you might have saw some of the hints already, but I don't think you're going to get this one. But you know what? Freaking, I love, without a doubt, 10's super chats. I love everybody's super chats. I mean, obviously, but he's always one step ahead of me. I swear to freaking God, I think this guy sometimes reads my mind, because wait, how come this is? Oh, I know why it's not coming up. Now it should come up. There we go. Karrion Kross wrote it today. It's the 21st day of the 21st year of the 21st century. You know, that's pretty cool. I mean, I remember, you know, last year they said, wait, it was I don't know what it was. It was like maybe, I think it was, no, something 18, 19, 20. Or does anybody remember what it was last year? There was a date last year that people like, will never see that date again. I mean, I don't remember what it was. It might have been like 10, no, it couldn't have been 10, 11, 12, because that was 8, 9 years ago. 420? No, 420 is every year. But yeah, today is the 21st day of the 21st year of the 21st century. And, you know, looking back at the first 21 days, what, 10, 20, 20? No, why does 10, 20, 20 sound... That doesn't, 420, 20? That doesn't sound, you know what? While we think about it, there's probably a lot of dates last year that we'll never get again. Seriously. 220, 20? I don't know. There was something that was like 3 numbers straight. I have no idea, man. Seriously. I could use a little 420 right now, with no joke. Look, Thursdays, nothing is on the agenda. Well, actually, I should change that and say everything is on the agenda. You know, somebody said tonight, like, the Hangout. You know, call the show the Hangout. I like it. Problem is, I went on YouTube, and there's like 500 shows called the Hangout. Then I was 666. Okay, that's a good one. Well, then you would have 777, 888, 1010, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, look, 10, 10, 10. But no, there was one date last year that everybody was making a big thing about. I don't remember. I got to go check it out. But, you know, I'm trying to come up with a name for everybody who tunes in live, because we do have a really diverse cast of characters. Some of you are, you know, just characters, and I say that complimentary. Sometimes there's a little bit of feathers ruffled, but you know, I had come up with originally the, you know, the cast of chat room characters. Sounds awfully long. It kind of sounds a little bit like old Saturday Night Live. That's why I liked it. Remember Saturday Night Live? Especially back in the mid-'70s when it first started. They're not ready for primetime players, I think it was. Or something like that. Then Mish came up with the Nasties, based on Lacey Evans, like, all of you are nasties, but not in a negative way. I don't know if nasties would fit. Then I thought about that graphic I used to have, La Nostra Familia, which means our great family. Problem is, I think a lot of people would not even know what that means. So then, just out of nowhere, I'm not kidding you, about a half hour ago, try to get a little bit of energy. I'm still suffering a little fatigue from this COVID vaccine I had 2 days ago, but the fever is gone. A lot of the pain and aches are gone. I have a little scratchy throat still, and I still feel a little bit off, but you know, I feel fatigued. Last night, I passed out. I slept the entire night without waking up once, and that rarely ever happens. So I slept like a baby. But about a half hour ago, I wanted to get a little bit of energy, so I made a giant coffee, and I took out some mixed nuts, you know, almonds, macadamias, and I was like, that's it. We got to call everybody in the chat room mixed nuts, because our family is so diverse. all shapes, sizes, skin colors, sexual orientations, United States, Australia, Africa, South Africa. I mean, mixed nuts. I kind of like mixed cookies as well, but mixed nuts. You know, it almost feels like the show should be called Mixed Nuts. I'm not saying that that's going to be the name of the show, but I kind of, Trail Mix, I like that too. Trail Mix. I kind of like it. But as I said, the last two shows, this is really the third official one we're doing on Thursdays, even though we did New Year's Eve as well. This is yours. Whatever is on your mind, that's what we're going to talk about. That's what Thursdays are about. If you don't tune in live, then obviously you won't be able to contribute to the topics, but you damn well could sit back and enjoy. And what I am going to do, just to play around with this a little bit later, I'm going to do something like this. You know, I know that it's slightly cut off, but have no fear. Whenever Super Chat comes in, I just do this instead. You know, so I'm going to just go back and forth. You know, we can manipulate colors, but whatever's on your mind, that is what we're going to talk about. Now, let me pull up. Hold on. I just want to get all my notes up here. Hang on a second. Let's see. All right, there we go. All right, so, yeah. All right, so we're ready to rumble. Steve Joseph, do I think Donald Trump should have attended the inauguration to bring the country together? That's pretty rough, especially when I was going to open the show up and show you all something pretty funny. You see this watch? See this watch? It's made out of wood. I have like 3 of them like this. Now, yeah, I use my smartwatch pretty much all the time, but this is made out of wood. It's pretty heavy, and I put it on this morning. And I have this watch for about 3 years, and I've worn it at least 70, 80 times, minimum. I'm looking at the watch closely right before we go live. I said, something doesn't look right. I thought there might have been like some dried up shit on the top, so I scratch it with my fingernail. How many of you had this happen to you in your lifetime? You have a watch, you have it for a couple of years, you see like a little mark on it, you don't know what it is, so you start scratching it, and then you realize you never removed the freaking plastic covering. I kid you not. This was the freaking plastic covering on the watch. Right before I go live, I'm like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me I've gone to weddings, gone away, wore this 70, 80 times, and never removed the plastic front? That's the depthness I thought the show would be today. That's no joke. That really happened right before we went live. Go figure. But something tells me that's happened to a lot of you out there before. Now, Steve Joseph asks, do I think Trump should have attended the inauguration? That's rough, man. That's a tough answer, and I'll tell you why. I mean, whether you like Trump or you dislike Trump, and maybe a lot of this is his own doing, but you know that since day one, especially Democrats were out to get this guy. And not only were they out to get this guy, you know, what happened 2 weeks ago at the Capitol is inexcusable. It's disgusting. But they use that to basically try to ruin this guy's life, try to, like, put it so he can never run again. I personally don't think he should run for president again. That's my honest, God honest feeling on it. So when you see up until the day he's leaving, and you see what happened with social media, you know, look, a lot of his tweets were very provocative, no question. And a lot of what he said riled up a lot of people. The problem is, in all walks of life, in every country, on God's green earth, you have some whacked out people. I have whacked out people who live a block away from me. Jesus Christ, Captain Lenny. Remember last week? I got a little extra audio today for all of you out there. If anybody goes back to the Mass Maniac, if you've never heard the Mass Maniac laugh before, stay tuned. That guy's whacked out on his head. Now, just because you're whacked out doesn't mean you're going to commit violence. But the thing is that when you see like Ayatollahs from Iran, and you see, you know, different militia groups in different countries and wishing death to other countries, and they're allowed to keep tweeting and tweeting and tweeting, there is free speech. And in the country I live in, it's free speech, not just the speech that you like. And I felt that what started going on, especially even Paula, all right, I don't know if Paula was really warned about some of the radical shit that was being said on their page. But they went after, they didn't go after the actual message. I mean, it just feels like something is not right, So up until that last day they were doing that to him, I think people out there, honestly, and this goes on both sides, everybody, both sides. I honestly think the best thing Trump did was not go, because there would have been half of the audience there that didn't want him there. A lot of people that were there didn't go to his. So it's not like, you got to understand, this is not movies. You're not going to have a happy ending, no matter what. It's not like, all right, let bygones be bygones, kumbaya, handshake, sign of respect. This isn't, that's not the way this goes. There is a bitterness and a vengeful behavior, an attitude that is not going away in 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. So no, I think for the benefit of both sides, I actually think that it was more peaceful because he didn't go. That's just my opinion. Now, just to show you how quick we could go on different sides of the coin. Top 3 Karrion Kross matches. Now, I don't know if you're talking about his entire career. Karrion Kross has had, we've seen him in Impact. We've seen him in Lucha Underground. We've seen him in Mexico. He's had some pretty damn good matches. Some of them with 6-man tags. I tell you, his tail run of Impact Wrestling was phenomenal. Maybe some of the matches didn't stand out as much as they should, but I could tell you, this guy, and from personal talking to him, this guy had a tremendous, tremendous chip on his shoulder. And now being in NXT, he had an awesome match with Ciampa. He's had some great matches in Lucha Underground. He's still got a large chunk of his career ahead of him. So, to give you spur of the moment, month, date, year, that's something you got to give me in advance so I could pull the pay-per-views and this, and that. I don't remember if it was Genesis for Impact Wrestling, but, I would have to look up specifics. But, I tell you, I will say this. You look at his NXT run and his Impact Wrestling run and his Lucha Underground run, which was brief, but a lot of people know him of those 3 more than anything else. I think his best presentation so far is NXT. That intro itself with Scarlett, I mean, it's the production value is just beautiful. It's top notch. I mean, everything about it. It's dramatic. You didn't have that aura or that feel in AEW. In Impact Wrestling. It just didn't have that feel. And Impact Wrestling has obviously declined substantially over recent years. So even if something seemed a little special, it doesn't feel the same. Big Baller, you are absolutely right. NXT has its best presentations, without a doubt. But the thing is, they have to start tightening up the ship. It's not just because AEW is on TV, but they have to tighten up the ship because, as we talked about yesterday, you have people that you keep putting on the TV, and I can understand people need time to develop. My God, when we get into some discussion later, if the topics come up, I could think of a few people right off the bat that they took their time, developed, and now it's starting to sprout some beautiful stuff. The thing is that There are some people that, you know, if you plant the seeds in the ground, you wait a month or two, and you don't even see a hint of a sprout, and all you see is dirt, get to a point you're like, you know what? I think it's time we plant some fresh seeds. And you see some people, we've talked about it. It's nothing personal against some of these people. But the problem is, you hype up New Year's Evil. And yes, there were some notable names absent. And I think that's part of the reason why their ratings were so bad. But you hype up New Year's Evil and you have some gems on that card. And then you sprinkle the build and you put this match before this one, or you throw this tag team match where both teams, nobody gives two drizzling shits about right now. People change the channel and they don't change it back. I can't tell you how many times, not just for wrestling, it could be for the news, it could be a movie, it could be sports, it could be just casual watching of something. I just start channel surfing and I find something and I never go back to what I was originally watching earlier. So, speaking of ratings, we got the ratings for Impact, AEW, and NXT, and I'm going to just share it with you quickly. Tomorrow on the Don Tony Show, I will get into the quarter-hour ratings. We'll dissect it a little bit, and we'll see what happens. And I have a little video clip for all of you. Something we talked about yesterday, something we talked about last week, and something we talked about 2 weeks ago that a lot of you wanted, that yours truly wanted. And we had a nice surprise overnight. Kind of like the reverse of what happened last week with Peter Avalon, which was hilarious. But Impact Wrestling, I thought this week's show was a hell of a lot of fun. They need to cut out this corny, carny shit. They need to start moving away from that. You know, we're getting the beginning of getting out of COVID, and here's where, you milked a lot of time with Wrestle House and who shot this person and who molested this person. Not really, but, now you got to really focus. I don't think 147,000 viewers is anything to be proud of. That is not even, that's 20%. 5 times 147 is 47 times 4 is 198. And another 47 is 245. And 345. I mean, no. 5 times 147. Well, 5 times 50 is 250. And you minus 15 is 235. And you add 100,000. I mean, they're like 4 or 5 times less the rating than AEW. That's disgusting. If they were 150,000, they'd be 5 times lower than AEW. They're like 6 times lower in AEW. They have decent people on their shows. I understand it's Access TV. I understand they got Twitch, and I understand that it's not, a big cable channel. But if you're a wrestling fan, after all of this time that Impact Wrestling's been on TV, you know how to watch Impact Wrestling. They did 147,000 viewers, lower than the average in 2020. Coming off the pay-per-view. I think next week's number is going to be a real telltale sign. Because you had Matt Hardy on there, you had Private Party, you had Tony Khan in the building. The problem is it doesn't feel any friction. Why isn't Impact Wrestling throwing security out there and trying to kick Tony Khan out? Why aren't they doing that? I mean, put it this way, is this like WCW in 2000 where Tony Khan Tony Khan would be Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff would be, no, how would you do that? I mean, who's the figurehead in Impact Wrestling when you think about it? Who's the figurehead? I mean, who do you want to use? Scott D'Amore? I mean, that might be the problem also in Impact Wrestling. They need a big-time figurehead to represent the whole goddamn company. WCW had its Bischoff. WWF had its Vince. WWE had its Vince. AEW has its Khan. Impact Wrestling doesn't have its Dixie. They need someone to step up. No. Do not think Ed Norholm. No. No, yeah. Maybe that's part of the problem. We need someone, not Don Callis, because Don Callis is playing like a mole. They needed someone to feel like the head honcho, the Godfather. Somebody with a super chat is like, yes, Godfather. I'm segueing in a second, but Impact Wrestling needs its Godfather. Impact Wrestling needs its tribal chief. Impact Wrestling needs its, big time, head honcho. They don't have one. They have scattered group of people that they call officials. I think that's probably part of the problem here. Josh Matthews got promoted, but Josh Matthews doesn't fit that bill. Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Steve Joseph, if I were Michael Corleone, would I have killed my brother Fredo if somebody called you Fredo? Is that disrespectful? Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Do you want to know something? I swear on my mother, I swear on my family, many, many years ago, my father called me Fredo because my brother had done something. I don't remember what it was. It was something trivial. And I'm talking like when I was in my 20s. And I told my father. And whatever it was, I honestly thought my father needed to know. It wasn't like, I'm telling. But my father said, good job, Fredo. And I honestly didn't catch what he meant by that. Then it hit me like, okay, I'm Fredo. I'm stabbing my brother in the back. So, So if somebody nobody would call me Fredo now because I don't backstab anybody. I'm straight up with everybody out there, but I'm not going to be taken advantage anymore. And I have shifted, how I use my time, my money, my dedication. And, some people may not like that. And just in all walks of life, it's not just podcast or anything like that. It's, my personal life, it's office. I have changed the amount of time I dedicate towards things. If somebody called me Fredo now, I probably would have deserved it. Because then that means I stabbed somebody very important in the back. And one thing I will never do is stab my family in the back. So, no. And if I was Michael Corleone, would I have killed my own brother? If my own brother set me up to be killed, oof, that's a hard one, man. I don't think I could have my brother killed. I don't know. That's so rough, man. Because that's blood, and that's based on reality. But yeah, I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could do that. Just a little feedback from before. Phillip Maffei says he supports Trump not going to the inauguration. Democrats didn't give him a chance from the start. As far as he could see, he didn't deserve to have him there. Look, I also feel that him being there would have been very uncomfortable for a lot of people as well. So I think, look, if I was Trump, I wouldn't have gone. I would have been like, look at how you treated me. Yes, again, yes, he deserved a lot of what came his way. Too many unforced errors. You see what's happening now? And I did not vote for our president this year. Well, in November. I did not vote. I voted on every other election that was on the ticket except for president. And I'm not a fan of Biden, and I'm not really a fan of Trump anymore, but I will say this. You could already see the difference between Biden and Trump. And I don't know if this is good or if this is bad. It is obviously way too early to tell. But Trump, I don't want to compare me to Trump. You see me? I need to run everything. I feel most comfortable when I have my chat room, our mixed nuts chatting right now. And you know what? We could show everybody what the mixed nuts look like. Where are you? Where are you? Hold on. There we go. There we go. We could do that for a little bit. Obviously, you need a bigger screen. I haven't figured out how to enlarge that yet. But, we got our mixed nuts. And, we mingle and everything. Hang on. But the thing is, I'm trying to think the best way I could put this. You know, Trump needed to be the head honcho, the decision maker. He needed to be the Vince McMahon of the country. Seriously, he needed to be the Vince McMahon of the country. The stark difference already is, yes, Biden signed a lot of executive orders, but Biden, you could already sense that he's going to let this group of people take care of things. He's going to let these people take care of things. He's going to let Congress take care of this. He's setting up a task force to take care of this. I think Biden is going to be more like a baseball manager. Trump wanted to be George Steinbrenner instead of being a baseball manager and letting a lot of your players do what they do, which is, and show why they are in the positions that they're in. Biden is going to not be as hands-on. That's why he got hit with one question today about the vaccines, and we already got, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. You're going to hear that 1,000. Take a shot every time that happens. Come on, man. So you could see that difference already. And again, I don't know if it's a good thing or if it's a bad thing, but, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Joey Moncrief, what's the point of soft core porn? How's this for diverse topics tonight? A little bit of everything. Well, it depends, man. It depends. You know, when I grew up and I became like people are laughing. When I grew up and I became like a teenager, it started getting curious, you know, with magazines and late night with cable. Cable never showed penetration. I first had scrambled porn, which I've showed you what scrambled porn looks like already. So you would get like a little glimpse of a nipple, and that's it, you know. But the thing is, a lot of cable TV did not show penetration. And, you know, it really depends. You know, there's a sensuality about softcore. It's more about maybe more the psychological and fantasy. You know, when you see like hardcore porn, it's more about just getting the deed done. That's probably my only way I could explain it. I mean, back in the day, you had Penthouse magazine. You had Playboy magazine. It was very, almost you could call it what softcore porn would be for movies. Then you had Hustler. Then you had Swank. And for anybody that's under the age of 18, do not Google search any of this. But you had those magazines. And that would be a little bit more explicit. And look, people have different preferences as far as adult entertainment goes. Some people like the soft core erotica, you know, and I'm no expert in it, but, you know, for some people out there, they like to see things a little bit more explicit. Then you got some people out there that are into their wild fetishes and dominatrix. It's just, it's a matter of preference. But I will say, in my opinion, whether you're totally into softcore or you're totally into, you know, that's your preference, man. I mean, as long as it's nothing illegal, I don't see nothing wrong with it. So, just my opinion. Now, I see some wrestling stuff coming in. So, and let me also say this. I'm probably making a mistake saying this, but obviously if you want, you're on the screen and focus on a particular topic, you know, that's why I always do with the super chats. But I'm going to be scoping out everybody tuning in. So I don't want anybody to feel like you got to contribute something financially to have discussions go on. But I definitely want to talk about this for a second. You know, for the last couple of weeks, I have been saying that I wanted Kyle O'Reilly and Finn Balor to team up, but I also wanted to see Thatcher and Ciampa team up. Ever since that storyline started, you have heard me say on the Wednesday shows, this storyline made no sense. Ciampa came back, beat the living hell out of Jake Atlas, and then cut this promo that the young wrestlers of today, they feel entitled, that they could wind on social media and get what they want, this and that, and blah, 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 and he's going to start cleaning things up. And the first person he goes after is none of that, Timothy Thatcher. None of that. And it took them a goddamn month to finally have Timothy Thatcher say, look, we're similar. Now you say it. But that entire time, I've said, I want Thatcher and Ciampa to team up. And last week, on Wednesday, I gave AEW credit that they don't put wrestlers that belong on Dark and nothing else but Dark, that they don't put them on Dynamite. And the first and the only example I gave last week was Peter Avalon. Well, as you saw last Friday when I played the video, a couple of hours after we finished our show, AEW makes an announcement that Peter Avalon's going to wrestle on Dynamite. There goes exactly what we just praised him for right out the window. Well, the same thing happened yesterday. I got to show you this. If you're not aware of it yet, you're going to really appreciate this. This is a very tiny clip, because I talked about it 3 times yesterday, but I don't want to pain you playing 3 clips, so I only played 1. I want you to check out what happened last night. Here's the men's side. Yeah, Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. They will be facing the winners of Ashante Adonis and Desmond Troy. Now, after Karrion Kross's match with Ashante Adonis today, I don't even know if that team is going to continue. I'd love to see WWE throw a swerve and put another team in there to take on Tony Nese and Daivari. Psycho loves Timothy Thatcher. I'm telling you, man, the guy really can work. He really can. And the Fight Pit match tonight was phenomenal. It was a flat-out brawl. I mean, shit made sense. I mean, the way they fought is the way the Fight Pit match should be. And again, I wish it would have happened weeks earlier, because I think Thatcher and Ciampa as a team in the Dusty Classic I would have loved to have seen. I love it. I love it. Ric Flair, Royal Rumble 1991. I love it. I love it. They're teaming up. They're fighting tonight on 205 Live. There ain't no way that Daivari and Tony Nese are advancing in this Dusty Classic. I said yesterday I wanted to see MSK win this whole thing. Now I want to see Ciampa and Thatcher win this whole thing. Oh, 92. 92. Thank you, One Fault. 92. My mistake. 92. I muted my burp. While I was playing the video, I took a huge slug of this. So, but how awesome is that, man? We've been saying, and a lot of you have been saying it too for weeks now, they are perfect together. Perfect. Perfect. 1992. Perfect. I want perfect. 1993. Monday Night Raw. So that's awesome, man. I freaking love it. Because you know what's going to happen. Now we're going to see Adam Cole and Roderick Strong versus Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. That's going to draw numbers. I'm telling you, it's going to draw numbers. So, Jeremiah Johnson, what's my favorite non-Italian dish? Wow. Before I went keto, I was a carb fanatic. Maybe you consider pizza Italian, but Chinese food, you don't understand. And I've talked about this a little bit before. For 40 plus years, about 90% of everything I ate was breads or fried. I can't tell you, at least once a week, there's a Chinese restaurant a half a block down from my office. And once a week, and this is going to sound disgusting for a lot of people out there, and some of you out there might get hungry, but once a week I would call up and I would order 2 orders of fried wontons with that red sauce with the pieces of pineapple in it. I get 2 orders of fried wontons. I would get, what are they, crab rangoons? It's like it's almost like fried wontons with like crab meat and cream cheese inside. I would always get French fries. I don't know if any of you out there have this happen also. You ever order French fries from a Chinese food restaurant and the French fries smell like Chinese food because obviously they use the same deep fryer to fry like the chicken wings and the egg rolls and the shrimp in the basket and all that. But those French fries, for some reason, the best ones were the ones that were hollow and darker, and you knew when you bit into it, there was a whole bunch of oil inside those fries. You don't understand, man. When I said that food was literally my best friend up until about 2.5 years ago, I'm not kidding. Because food would be the only thing that would not curse me out. The food were the only things that would not make fun of me. The food were the only things that would not insist that I, buy them this gift, buy me this, take me out here, go over here. It wouldn't talk back. It gave me what I wanted. And I know there's a lot of you out there that have gone through that as well. So Chinese food, fried food, oh my God. Crab rangoons. Ragu is tomato sauce. Ragu. But you know what I also love too? And Mish, wrestling soup, breakfast soup. I have sent them this 2 or 3 times already, but we love like the kosher, like corned beef and pastrami that has like the layer of fat on the sides. Corned beef pastrami on rye with mustard, and then like a real good sour pickle with it and a round potato knish. That's fire for me. Believe it or not, I was never really into Indian food. Neil, honestly, the only reason why I'm not into Indian food is I don't really have any Indian restaurants where I am. And I don't know too many people that are Indian. One friend that I used to hang out with was Pakistani, and he would make a little bit of Indian food when we would play cards. He would come to my house and bring some stuff. But yeah, that's a food that I really have not been able to, just experience. Spanish food I get into a little bit, Ecuadorian food. I just can't get into the things where you got like it looks like body parts from pigs and stuff like that. No. There's some, but I will say this. Outside, even though I just told you about my fetish for Chinese food, my favorite food outside of Italian is Mexican. Absolutely. Give me steak fajitas, chicken fajitas, chimichangas, quesadillas. I can't remember tortas. Are they called tortas? Not tetas, but tortas. Guacamole. Give me like a giant spoon. I'll eat a gallon of guacamole if I could. So, but yeah. Filipino food I haven't been able to enjoy because my neighborhood is pretty much Mexican, Spanish, Chinese, and Italian. That's really it. We have one Irish pub that has like a lot of corned beef and cabbage and like American food, but not really. And, my fiance loves sushi. I don't like raw fish. I don't like sushi. When I was eating sushi, I would get like avocado roll. You get the shrimp tempura. Like I would give me anything tempura. As long as there's not a fish head on it, I would eat that. But that's pretty much, I don't like sushi. I never ever liked sushi. So let's see. Let's get into some wrestling questions here. Tyree Jones. How do I feel about the rumblings of MVP and Lashley separating from the Hurt Business and calling out Brock and Lashley losing to Riddle Royal Rumble? Well, I've talked about it the last 2 weeks that they have been planting this seed of Cedric Alexander getting kicked out of the Hurt Business. That's what it feels like. I think Shelton Benjamin is Teflon with this, and I don't see Shelton Benjamin and Lashley splitting up. I know Lashley's getting a little bit fed up. The only thing I could possibly see is Lashley gets so fed up. Because last week, if they're going in this direction, you could look at it like this. Lashley got so annoyed in storyline of Cedric and, oh my God, I just drew a freaking blank. Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. he got so fed up that he's like, fuck this. And he put the hurt lock, and that was it. Match over. Match over. It may go to the next level where Bobby Lashley gets so fed up, Bobby Lashley just walks out of the ring. Walks away. I'm done. I'm done. I'm going out on my own. Then maybe if MVP is going to continue managing, maybe MVP manages some of these guys but does it separately. That is definitely a possibility. What's up, Connor? What's going on, my brother? What's up? I'm telling you, Connor, the last couple of days have been so insane over here. Like, I've been trying to make time to see you shit your pants watching horror films and stuff. Like, some of the, I see what's going on, and it's very special. Trust me, it's pretty cool. But it's just things have been so crazy over here. 3 days in a row, I tried to convince myself to take a night off from doing the shows because, you know, there's just a lot of things going on. But Connor, hope everything is well, seriously. And Connor, we got to do an episode together very, very soon. I'm talking weeks, not months, because Shaheen Nuclear Graphics is making a template as we speak that has 2 video screens. And this way on Thursday, I can have an extra video screen. We come on, we talk about whatever. And especially with Thursday, we could talk about anything. Doesn't necessarily have to be about wrestling. Oh, by the way, and you know what? Before I show you all, I want to just finish the topic of Shelton and MVP. Joey Dollars, he said that if Cedric Alexander gets booted, do I think it'll be a public swole announcement? No, I think it'll just get attacked. I think Lashley just saying, I've had it, and he walks away. I think that's probably the easiest way to go with this. Or you just have Cedric Alexander get cocky one too many times. You know, they settle it. You know, they like clear their minds and they all hug, and then when Cedric turns around, he just gets clocked and they beat the shit out of him. I don't know if MVP would try to stop it, because I could see MVP possibly trying to stop it, but then again, I could see MVP, you know, saying that, you know, you don't belong in this group and this and that. So I think the first person to be gone is Cedric Alexander. Shelton Benjamin. Oh, and by the way, you get a kick out of this. I told you my old hard drive, I got thousands of files that are unnamed. Because one time, many, many years ago, my hard drive crashed, and I was able to have it restored. But if anybody's ever had that happen, when the files are restored, the names of the files are all changed. They're like just random letters, numbers. So I literally got to click on each file to see what the hell it is. I found over the weekend a clip from 2006. It's the Minority Report, myself, Joey 924, Black Moses. And on that clip, we announce that the wrestling hotline that we had, you know, one of the two, we were shutting down and we were going full-time webcast online. And it's revolutionary because people weren't doing that. You know, even a couple of years before that, I was already online for a couple of years, but later on, it's about a 30-minute clip. And later on in the conversation, we are talking about Shelton Benjamin. We're talking about Ric Flair. And with Shelton Benjamin, at the time, this is about 7-8 months into Mama Benjamin. Remember Mama Benjamin? This was about 7 or 8 months in, and all the news reports at that time was that Shelton Benjamin may be on his way out because his heart just isn't in it anymore. Now, it's an interesting conversation because you look at it now and look at all these years later, and he's a tag team champion. But when I think back more to that time, I think Shelton Benjamin pretty much was fed up with the fact they were doing the Mama Benjamin thing and everything else. So it's a pretty cool clip. This clip has not been played, you know, in 15 plus years. So maybe I'll share that next week. I want to try to clean it up a little bit. But so we'll see what happens. Neil Ray, Apollo turning heel under Paul Heyman and Roman is great. I don't know if that's going to last. I really don't. I don't see Paul Heyman branching out to other clients unless that client's name rhymes with Jock. I think Apollo fails. Roman Reigns is like, don't worry about it. And Roman Reigns maybe beats the living shit out of Apollo Crews. And maybe this leads to a match with Apollo Crews versus Roman Reigns. Somehow Big E gets involved in this storyline, and it might be the way to segue into Big E versus Roman Reigns. I don't mind Apollo Crews being a heel. I mean, I never in a million years ever thought Cedric Alexander would have made it work. I'm willing to give it a shot. You know, who knows? Who knows where it could go? But the way I feel right now, I just don't see Big E losing the title to Apollo Crews. And I almost feel like Apollo Crews will lose, and Reigns will, end up attacking him. That's the way I see it. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but that's kind of where I see this going. KiraZAbel. Have I seen the AJ Styles documentary yet? No. I am watching it over the weekend. I already saw some of the clips, and, they show him, behind the scenes right before the Royal Rumble. He thought he would never fit in. And AJ Styles, the number one thing, he hoped that they knew who he was, that they didn't forget him, or the WWE Universe knew who he was. And when they popped the way they did, I'm telling you, man, some of you may not know this. It's not a badge of honor. For me, even working for some wrestling companies back in the day, I don't get starry-eyed with people. I treat people like I would want to be treated. I don't look at someone and just get starstruck, and just get like, oh my God. I just talk to them like everybody else. And honestly, this is true. I've talked to enough very famous wrestlers, Hall of Fame wrestlers, and I could tell you that 99% of them have said this or agree with this. They like to be treated like everybody else, in the sense that, they don't want to be pandered. I mean, they want respect, obviously, but they want someone to talk to them, like a regular person. And, the thing is, one time, AJ Styles was on his way out from Impact Wrestling, and there was a lot of reports about the amount of pay that he was demanding from Impact Wrestling, and Impact Wrestling was not doing very good. And I don't remember exactly what I had said on a Monday show, but it was criticism towards AJ Styles. And he did an interview somewhere, and he addressed our show on the podcast, and was very, I don't want to say angry or hurt or offended, but when I heard it, I was like, man, that reminded me of what I've been saying for 25 years doing this stuff, that yes, people have blue check marks next to their names, and yes, they're larger than life, and yes, they're very famous, and yes, they're obviously in a much bigger, different bubble than what we live in this country and beyond. But at the end of the day, everybody hurts the same. Everybody cries the same. Not everybody has, it's not a requirement that if you become famous, one of the requirements of being famous is you must have thick skin. Having thick skin helps tremendously. It helps tremendously because, trust me, after going through some of the wars on social media, with famous people over the years, and you have those mobs that gang up also, if you can't handle threats and criticism and people mocking you, or you just get eaten alive and spit out. That's why, I always point out, you got people who claim to be the toughest of the tough, and all you need is one person, one tweet from one person to totally contradict them and dare mock them. It's like you took their pet, their dog or their cat, and treated them pepper style, Al Snow pepper style, you know? It's just, you know, you could see thick skin is almost essential, but it's not a requirement. You see Lana crying the way she does, you know, a lot of those people out there who have really taken a shitload of personal shots at her, once you see that, their only line of defense is she's faking it. What else could they say? They don't have it in here to say, you know, maybe I shouldn't have gone that far. And that's the formula I always talk about. You see it. You see it when people are fans of Goldberg. There are fans that are happy Goldberg is back. There are fans that are happy Goldberg is back. I know it might sound shocking to a lot of you out there. And what happens? These people get ridiculed, made fun of, ripped apart because they like people that other people don't. So, you know, AJ Styles, when he got really offended of what I said, it really made me take a step back and say, man, you know, it's very easy to be loose on the tongue. And, you know, that's why I have pulled back on personal shots as much as possible on wrestlers. Because at the end of the day, they're human beings like everybody else. And that's the God honest truth. So, but the AJ Styles documentary, I am definitely watching this weekend. Something else. I got it. This Candido book arrived today. It's on Amazon. This is going to be the first book. This is going to be the first book that I have read from cover to cover in 20 years, at least. I think Bill O'Reilly came out with a book like 15 plus years ago or 10 years ago that I had bought, read about 20 pages, and ended up throwing it away. Just never finished reading. I've gotten Charlotte's book. I've gotten Ric Flair bios. I've gotten the WCW, Death of WCW. I've gotten Foley books. I have bought so many books and always said, I'm going to read this one. This one obviously is different because I have the privilege of becoming friends with Chris Candido personally. And, you know, obviously, you know, when people say to you, you know, like, what death in pro wrestling has shaken you the most? Most people will usually say Eddie Guerrero or Owen Hart. There is no wrong answer, obviously. There is no wrong answer. Eddie Guerrero, I still have that audio from my hotline. 40 minutes of people just crying. Just crying. That wasn't fake. There wasn't even, I don't even know if Twitter was around at that time. There wasn't people doing it for attention. People emotionally got crushed over that. You can get floored by somebody who you never met, but you looked up to and you just absolutely beloved as an entertainer. So, but for me, you know, what struck me the most personal was, number one was Chris Candido. And, you know, obviously I have some local friends from Timmy Arson and others who died as well. But, you know, that's why, like I said, for the people that don't know, Johnny Candido co-wrote this book, Chris Candido's brother. He's going to be coming on with me in a couple of weeks, probably about 2 weeks. And not only are we going to celebrate the life of Chris Candido, we're going to tell a lot of personal stories that nobody knows. One I really don't want to get into until we do it, but I don't know if it's even in the book. I think I might have told this once before, but back when I used to talk to him about his stint in WWF in the mid-90s, when WWF started really, if you want to call it, jobbing him out, they wanted him to be a trainer, to train, help train and bring up a rising star in a company they thought would be the future of the company, named Rocky Maivia. Before The Rock was ever on TV, they wanted Chris Candido to be one of the trainers to train The Rock. I mean, this is personal stuff. Like I said, I don't even know if it's in the book. I haven't read the book yet. But there's a lot of little things that I want to definitely talk to him about. So I'm going to be reading that over the weekend as well. There's been a couple of audiobooks. Jim Ross's book I listened to. I just, when I listen to it, I'm doing other things around the house. So I'm not just sitting there like, so you don't hear every little sentence. But, yeah, I am definitely going to check it out over the weekend. So shout out to Connor once again, OKayFabe. Hopefully everything's going good with you, my friend, seriously. But, yeah, and like I said, by next week I should have my video template set up, and, we'll definitely do something on a Thursday. Absolutely. Absolutely. I have not seen Virgil's nuts pick yet. Twix, did this happen today? Because Virgil, usually when something stupid happens, it like spreads like wildfire online. You know what? If I end up playing a little bit of Lenny on the Mass Maniacs hotline in a little bit later, maybe while it's playing for a couple of minutes, I'll do a Google search to see if I could pull it up. What did he do? Don't super chat this, but what did Virgil do today? What is this Virgil's nuts pick? There's no way that Virgil took a picture of his testicles. What did he do? What did he do? Jet fan is asking me. I have not talked to the Mass Maniac in about probably 5 or 6 years. I know this year is the last year that he's going to be running shows. I think he is going to be doing a show in New York. He has not reached out to me, and, I don't dislike the guy, obviously. I mean, I owe a lot to him. He's the one that I always credit for the thick skin that I have, because, he really gave it to me and had other people give it to me, whether it's fake post or not. And he allowed me to have some fun and do a few things in wrestling. May not have been all that good, but he allowed me to do some stuff, and I'll always be grateful for that. But Left Twix says he took a picture of his nuts hanging out of his shorts. Are you serious? Is it actual nudity? Why would he do that? Like, that's something that you would hear Marty Jannetty do. Virgil, seriously, man. Are you now? It was wait a minute. This is even worse. It was a cameo video. Oh, okay. There's a little clarification. CJ Rocks, figures, someone with the name Rocks, talking about Virgil's balls. Virgil did a cameo video for someone and did not realize that there was a little bit of draft in the room. His testicles apparently were hanging out on the left side of his shorts, or his whatever he was wearing. It had to have been shorts, and his balls were sticking out. I will tell you, I'm not showing you. I wear Bolter, Bolter, Bolter boxers. And, they run big. I wear a size medium. Trust me, they're not a medium. They're like a large. But they're cotton. They get 5-star reviews on Amazon, and they're wonderful. The problem is, if you're like laying down watching TV and all you have is your boxers on, and you turn sideways to like look at the computer or something, sometimes you feel a little draft. And you look down, you're like, okay, something looks like it's creeping out that wants to come out to play. And then you got to like reposition yourself. How this guy didn't know, oh my God. He was okay, now there's a little more clarification. It was not a cameo video. He was talking on Instagram Live, and his nuts were hanging out, and he didn't notice. That kind of makes more sense, because if he did a cameo video, it's not live, and I'm sure he probably would have watched it back, and he would have been like, wait a minute, It would have been funny if Chris Van Vliet would have interviewed him, because, I brought that up. You look at the split screen. Whenever Vliet he just interviewed, who did he just interview? somebody from a website. But once again, you see the split screen and Valet is smiling and the other person on the other side. And Valet doesn't look straight at the camera. It always looks like he's looking down. He's like, and it's almost like he's looking at the person. That's why it comes around. It looks like he's looking at his nuts. It would have been awesome if Valet was interviewing Virgil. It would have been like, hey, he's looking at his nuts. No, Twix, I will definitely look at it. I really don't want to see Virgil's nuts, but I want to see, you remember the infamous supermarket brawl with Steve Austin and Booker T. And the running gag for years was that Booker T's nuts somehow were hanging out as well. But it was just, I guess shade and the way the light was portrayed. But even Booker T had to clarify that on an interview a bunch of times. And a lot of you don't know what I'm talking about. Just do a Google search and you'll see the clip. And obviously I don't condone this, especially, if you're younger, but there was no nudity, obviously. But the way he was laying in the shopping cart, it looked like Booker T's nuts were hanging out. And for a very long time, people thought Booker T's nuts were hanging out in the supermarket segment. Kevon Lewis is saying, did I hear about Devin coming out as gay? Devin who? Devin Nicholson? When you say Devin, because we got Devon, get the tables. We got Devin. It's probably Devin Nicholson. Headline from bodyslam.net. Virgil promotes his own cameo page. Oh, see, that's clickbait, man. Bodyslam.net, that's clickbait. Because that sounds like he was doing a cameo video. Now I understand why people thought that that it was a cameo. He was on Instagram Live plugging his cameo page and his nuts were hanging out. Very deceiving, bodyslam.net. Very deceiving. That's Bush League. Okay. Devon Dudley revealed his coming out as gay. Now, I will tell you this. I have a good friend of mine. I don't want to say his name. Mish knows him. Not personally, but Mish is the only person on my personal Facebook page, other than maybe Cressman, but they're the only one or two people that, and I've met Mish personally, so Cress is the only one that I haven't met personally, I don't believe, but they know who this person is. But I have a friend of mine that I have been friends with since I was in like 6th grade. And I will tell you, and what I'm about to say, for some of you out there have never heard this story, it is a terrible story. It is a fact. It's just a part of what happened when I grew up. But I'll be very brief about it. There used to be a girl named Tracy. She was Asian. She lived in Maspeth, Queens, which was the next town over of where I lived. And she was attracted to a friend of mine. We'll just call him David. We'll just call him David. And we were at the time, I think, 16 or 17 years old, about 17. And my friend was fooling around with her in my other friend's house because he needed privacy. So he went over to my friend's house and he was fooling around with her. And long story short, he comes outside, he's all sweaty, and he goes to my friend Joey, and he's like, Joey, she wants to, hang out with us both, if you know what I mean. So my friend Joey's like, yeah. My friend Joey goes into his house. They go into his room. We're all standing outside at Juniper Park, and my friend Joey and my friend David got laid with this girl. Next thing you know, you find out that this girl's like a nymphomaniac. 4 guys, 5 guys, 6 guys, all, doing their thing with her. She loved every minute of it. Me at the time, I was about 290, about 5 inches shorter than I am now. And, I was not the most pleasant thing to look at, so I did not take part in it. Not because I didn't want to. I'm not going to sit here and be politically correct and say, oh, I would never do anything like that. No, she didn't want to bang this fucking fat guy that supposedly smelled like cheese all the time. So I never got me some. But this guy, David, ended up having a relationship with her and tried to have and I don't know if this relationship led to this, but the relationship went south, didn't go well. And then a couple of years later, my friend David shows up with a guy. We thought this was just like a friend of his from work or something like that. And you could see them getting like a little bit playful. And one of my friends just flat out says like this, just like, and he's like, yeah. And then we thought, okay, you know, bisexual, experimenting, but he has been straight, completely gay. I know that sounds weird, straight gay. No, since then he's been straight up 100% gay since he was about 18, 19 years old. The reason why I'm saying all this is because Devon always partied with women. Devon, once he had a family, was loyal. And I could tell you, you know, from people who have, you know, talked about him over the years, you know, once he had a family, he was loyal. But Devon, back in the day, you know, he was in demand, and he was involved with a lot of women. So now Devon Dudley just revealed that he's gay, and he's been in the closet. And, you know, the one thing I will tell you, and I bet you any amount of money Devon will probably say this if he hasn't said it already. There are a lot of people out there who are gay or bisexual, and because of society, and because if their family is, you know, with, you know, religion, you know, are against anyone being gay, because, you know, I know it sounds extreme for a lot of people out there, but, you know, if your family is totally against homosexuality, you know, or frowns on it, or doesn't feel comfortable about it, you would have people that may have to hide their sexuality to the day they die. So because of society, and because of, you know, acceptance or non-acceptance, people hide it and hide it and hide it. And, okay, now we have people saying that he was joking. You know, I will say this. You gotta, and seriously, this goes out to everybody tuning in. You really gotta, goes back to my motto since 1997. I don't want to be first. I want to be right. So, point is, now a bunch of people are saying that Devon was only joking. Well, I don't think sexuality, being gay or straight or bisexual, I don't think that's something you joke about. And I think anybody tuning in, you really got to make sure that you're right, or do some research, because that goes back to, like I said, about other people that do podcasts and stuff like that. They think reading tweets, they have scoops, that they have sources. So, you know, look, nothing wrong with, you know, making a mistake here. Because, look, you see how a lot of websites operate. They twist things around and they try to get you to view. Look, I saw this website. I don't remember the guy's name. He lives in India. And the guy has like 700,000 followers on YouTube. And he put up a clip last week. WrestleMania canceled. Roman Reigns' match canceled. And I'm looking at this. And I mean, I obviously can't understand it because it's a different language, but I'm looking at the title and I'm saying to myself, how the fuck is this guy got like 30,000 likes and 700,000 followers? I mean, everything the guy said was a lie. So people do this, but the reason why I think this is a good conversation anyway right now is because some of you who tune in, I know, are gay or bisexual. And I guarantee you, for some of you, it has been very difficult years back to reveal, you know, what your sexuality was, or if you were gay or bisexual. So whether Devon is gay or not doesn't change anything that I just said. You know, there are people that, you know, will have heterosexual relationships, you know, up until late their adulthood and even, you know, their senior years. And meanwhile, deep down inside, you know, that's really not what they want. But because of acceptance and because of not wanting to be looked at as an outcast, or people trying to tell them that, you know, that's wrong, that they just go with the flow. That's totally wrong. Totally wrong. It's easy for me to talk about this because I'm a heterosexual. I'm straight. I mean, I don't even like to use the word straight, because what's the opposite of straight? Crooked. So if I'm not straight, it sounds like a negative. So I don't like using the word straight. I got to get that out of my system. But I'm a heterosexual person. So it's very easy for me to spit this out because I don't know what it feels like to struggle like that inside. That's why even with the stuff with Black Lives Matter and Kaepernick and others over the last couple of years, you know, I was totally against Kaepernick and a lot of his things. I don't agree with everything, but now I understand why the kneeling, and I actually agree with something. I know some of you out there don't like that and this and that, but me, I'd rather learn and listen and educate myself and make my own decisions. There's a lot of views that I have that a lot of you disagree with. When I say that, you know, I don't like Trump as much anymore, I still like Trump to a certain degree. I like his work ethic. I like his persistence of almost perfection. There's a lot of people out there, especially in politics, you know, people in politics are not 15, 20 years old. They're 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. And at that time, they want to sit back and relax and try to milk their power. You see it. You see it. Dangle carrots, get put in office, don't deliver on a lot of things, blame it on other people. And then when it comes to election time, no, I will continue fighting for you no matter what. Even if we don't get, I will still fight for you. Yeah, we'll fight for you. And then they get elected and then things go away. That's how it works. Lion says I'm showing growth. I don't know if it's considered growth. It's just, you got to keep an open ear. You know, I'm never going to be one of those people that's going to be on social media and just go with the flow and type things and say things that I heard about this Karl Rove today that kind of said that he was embarrassed or disappointed at the racism comments that Joe Biden said in his speech. Now, I heard what he said. It wasn't straight up cut and dry, but it definitely was worthy of people being pissed off at. He sounded like an idiot. My immediate thought was to go on Twitter and say, hey, Karl Rove, why don't you go take your whiteboard and go fuck yourself? I was this close to typing it. Then I said to myself, for what? So I could get 1,000 likes, you know, emotional stuff, and then what? So I keep it to myself. But I seriously, man, there's a lot of you out there that struggle for various reasons, not just sexuality. And, you know, I could tell you, your family could tell you, your friends could tell you, you could read other people saying things and, you know, to try to inspire you or to, you know, give you the strength to do something. You got to do it yourself. You got to do it yourself. It's very easy to just say things to appease people. it's very easy to say things just to go. I was talking the other day, like I said, with Johnny Candido. And Johnny said to me, he goes, look, when we have our discussion, he wants to bring up a bunch of wrestlers who died that didn't get the attention that they should have in the wrestling community. And we started talking a little bit about Balls Mahoney and a few others and some hilarious stories and everything like that. And I brought this up before, Axel Rotten. Axel Rotten was one of the nicest people you could have ever met. But he had tremendous problems with drugs. And some of the shows still exist. They're on Patreon now. I will make them public in the very near future for everyone. But there are at least 2 or 3 episodes of the Masked Maniac show where myself and the Masked Maniac talked to Axel Rotten. And Axel Rotten, on 2 of those 3 episodes, made a huge announcement. And he was happy to tell everyone that he was now officially clean. And we were happy for him. But deep down inside, we realized that he was making this public to get a whole bunch of people to get behind him, and that would be the push to get him to be clean. And he wasn't clean. And there's a lot of people out there that are struggling, and they're not intentionally trying to do things for attention. Some people out there feel once you put something out there, now you got to deliver. It's me, but not in that extreme ways. Me, when I finally decided I was going to go video, I made the announcement, I think, in August of 2019. And I announced it 5 months in advance. And a lot of you saw what this place looked like before I gutted it. It looked like a bomb hit this place. I still have the before pictures. Maybe I'll post them next week if you want to see them. This place looked like a bomb. I put those pictures online and I was absolutely embarrassed by it. Because even though it was kind of like, oh my God, look at this place. Look how fucked up it is. It was kind of funny. But, my fiance said to me, she's like, you should be embarrassed. This is your house. You let it get that messy. Once I put it out there, I was like, oh, now I have to give updates. So I was forced to stay on top of this shit and fix it and post. So once you put it out there, you kind of feel obligated, like, okay, that's it. You now told everybody, now you got to deliver. And that's what happens with like Axel Rotten and others. They put stuff out there and now they got to deliver. And unfortunately, when it comes to things like that, it consumes you and you lose. It's one thing when you promise, trivial things, whether it's a show or this is an ad. Oh, everybody, no. In a week, I'm going to start this. In 2 weeks, I'm going to start this. And people don't realize how quick 2 weeks goes by. No, in a month, I'm going to start this. No. And after a while, you realize if you don't have the drive yourself, it's never going to happen. So no matter how much people will try to help you and push you, it's got to come from within here. You got to have it in here and in here. So the Devon thing, I'm glad we were able to clear it up quickly. Doesn't matter if he's gay or straight, but I'm glad we had this conversation because I know from talking to a lot of people over the years, and even my friend Darren, and it got to the point that he was so comfortable, then we would have some like weird, funny conversations. And I've brought this up before. One time we were hanging out in Juniper Park, and this is about 25 years ago. And we're hanging out in Juniper Park. It was summertime, and he was there with his boyfriend. And we used to say these stupid things with dares. You remember Tommy Dreamer in WWF? They dared him to drink like puke or this or that. It's disgusting. But I'm sure a lot of you out there, if you were your friends, like, oh, I dare you to do this. So would you do this for $10? If I gave you a lump of dog shit, would you lick it for $50? Like, we would say dumb things like that. And I remember one of my friends turning around to my friend's boyfriend and said, would you do any of us? And he's like, oh my God, what I would do to you. I would tear you apart. Now, I'm being G-rated here. But if I repeated what this guy said, some people would have gotten extremely uncomfortable. Us, we were just getting good laughs out of it. James O'Cash thinks that Trump and Biden are almost identical. Maybe in age, but I don't think they are, man. Biden is going to try to come across as being in charge of everything, but Biden is going to trust a lot of people to do. That's why Fauci, for people that don't know, Fauci immediately today was kind of pretty much saying, oh God, I feel so relaxed now. You know, you have other people, even some Republicans, that'll almost pretty much saying, oh, thank God he's gone. Trump's biggest problem is he insisted that he had to be the person behind everything. No matter what it was, he had to put his name on it so he could get full credit on it. And instead of sitting back and letting other people do their job, like if he was a manager of a baseball team, he would insist that he would be the one to hit the home run, that he would be the one to get the last strikeout. He would be the one to dive for the ball. He would be the one. No, you got to sometimes sit back and let the people around you do what they have done their whole life to get to where they're at. I know a lot of you are happy that Trump is gone. I'm a little concerned with taxes and other things, the stuff about minimum wage. I mean, granted, a lot of people that are making shit wages, I would love to see them make more money. But it's just a fact. Nothing is free in this world. Nothing is free in this world. They could come across that they're going to give, sooner or later you pay. Look at WWE. I didn't even bring this up yesterday. Remember that Finn Balor shirt I showed you yesterday? Most of you out there agree with me that that shirt looks god-awful. What I forgot to bring up yesterday is that shirt is $27.99 on WWE Shop. WWE's quietly raised all their shirt prices, $3, $4. Sure, they always have sales, but a lot of the shirts now, $28. I started my pro wrestling tee store about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever it was. And when I first launched the shirts, I think I made them like $20, which means I make $1. I did, no, excuse me, 70 cents on a shirt sale, 70 cents. Then when you figure out taxes and everything like that, it's more like 40 cents. And a lot of other stores had the same prices. I haven't checked that store in ages other than updating the shirts to reflect the current shows. And I look at other podcasters' stores, their shirts are like $5 more than mine. Everybody raised their prices. Yes, Jeff Collins is 100% right. With shipping charges and taxes, one shirt now costs $35. 2 years ago, a shirt, trust me, I've done 200 contests in the last couple of years. At least 200 contests. And a lot of people have bought shirts. I know. In the last 2 to 3 years, shirts, shipping, and taxes were $25. Now it's $35. UPS, if you're not part of their My Choice thing, you got a package coming. Oh, I'm going to be away tomorrow. Oh, let me reschedule with UPS. And they charge you a little fee to change the date. It was $4.99 up until 6 months ago. Now it's $7.99. So you may not think that a stimulus check or raising the minimum wage has any connection of what I just said, but it does have a connection. In the end, everybody pays. You see that they want to stop this Keystone pipeline? I know for a lot of you out there, you know, that's not news that you're concerned about. But in a couple of weeks, when the gas prices go up 30 cents a gallon and your tank is 20 gallons of gas. Now you're paying $7 a tank more than before. In the end, everybody pays. In the end, everybody pays. Joey Dollars, he's asking his kids to get him a Don Tony shirt for his birthday in March. Joey, when is your birthday? You don't have to tell me your age. When is your birthday? I got to see when his birthday is, because my birthday's in March also. If you pick the magic number, you might get a T-shirt for free. And by the way, should we give out the Charlotte photo now? Oh, Joey. Wah, wah, wah. Mine's March 27th, by the way. Should we give this out now? Should we do this now? You know, we did a great Who Am I contest last week with Greg the Hammer Valentine. I promise you this week, it might not be an easier contest, but it's someone that we see on TV now. Maybe not all the time, but it's somebody active now. So, okay, so this is the prize. It's in the plastic. That's why it's a little glossy, but it's beautifully signed by Charlotte Flair. It is JSA authenticated. If you go on JSA's website and you type in the serial number, it'll show you that it's this. It'll actually show you a picture of it. This is 100% legit. And, no joke, I have the envelope right here. The giant envelopes. So, look, legit. I will tape it tomorrow, but I am legitimately putting it in here, and this will be shipped out tomorrow. I'll put cardboard inside so it can't be bent, but this is going to go out tomorrow. Where can I put it? Yeah, put it here. All right, so it's a Who Am I contest. And let's do this. Oh my God, this whole time Virgil's nuts was on the screen. Oh my goodness. Somebody's got to remind me next time. DT, you got to take that down. Oh my God. I'm sorry. All right, so let's do this. Okay, here's a better picture of it. Okay, there you go. And, you know, for the people that ask, because a couple of people asked me the other day, why do you always got to put your bobblehead in the pictures? Why do you always got to make it about you? And I'm like, no, that's to show you that this is my picture. And it's not just taking somebody's from a Google image search. That's why I do it. So anyway, this is how we're going to document the contest legit. I'm going to put the chat room up there right now. This is live, obviously. So here's how it's going to work. The contest is, who am I? I don't care where you live. I don't care if you live 10,000 miles away. And trust me, there's some awesome people out there. RT Gaggiano lives 8,500 miles away from me, tunes in every week, some of the shows. There are people that live one town over. Some of you, if I win, deliver it to me. Don't mail it. Stop by, hang out. So I don't care where you live. If you are tuning in, you are eligible for this. I will ship it anywhere. So here's how it works. I am going to, oh wow, what's that? Well, you know what? Hang on a second. That doesn't look all that great. Hold on a second. Let's take this. Oh, I know why it's showing like that. So we got to just do this. Hang on. I'm sorry for those on audio only. I'm trying to make it nice and neat on the page. So, yeah, let's do this. Just bear with me for 2 seconds, and let me see if I could fix that. Yeah, that's better. That's better. I'm a stickler to detail, as you can see. I don't even like the littlest thing off. So here's how we're going to do this, plain and simple. I got a paper here. I'm not going to show it to you. It's on the other side. There is about 8 hints on this paper. It's somebody who competes currently that is not retired. And I'm going to give you a hint one at a time. And the first person in the chat room who types the person's name wins the prize. I mean, it doesn't have to be spelled 100% perfect, but, you know, we obviously have to know who it is. But you got to do the first and last name if it is a person with two names. Because you type one name, you know, that's just trying to rush to be first. So people already posted names. No, you're not right. So I'm going to give you hints. Now, the difference between this week and last week is I have one photo in front of me of a bunch of people, and the answer lies within that photo. If I go through all of these hints and no one has gotten the name yet, then I will post this photo and give you a little hint from the photo, and then someone will nail it. So the first person that types, if the person has two names, first and last name, the first person who types it gets the prize. So are we all ready? Are you by your keyboards? I'm going to take a slug. And let me also say one thing. There's going to be some times we do this contest that someone will answer it in 5 seconds. Somebody will know where a person lives or came from, little detail, and may get it just like that. So I don't want anybody to get upset if somebody wins in 5 seconds. So anyway, I got my pen so I can mark off these hints. All right, ready? I am a female wrestler. So that kind of like cuts the answers in half already. I'm a female wrestler. I've been wrestling for about 4 years. I'm 31 years old. I hail from New Jersey. Okay, so right now we got somebody 31 years. Nope, not correct. Not correct. I appeared on TV. Nope, I've appeared on TV. I was in the Royal Rumble once, and my appearance in the Royal Rumble, you know what? Seriously, I know I'm going to sound like, we got a winner already, by the way. You can keep posting your guesses, but we got a winner already. If anybody tuned into yesterday's show and saw the generosity of an individual, and it was funny because, you know, like, I was like, oh, you know, I wish you could win a contest. This was yesterday. Jay Carlos got it right. Casey Cannizzaro. Let me read you all of the hints from this list, okay? I am a female wrestler, 31 years old. I've been wrestling for about 4 years. I had an appearance in the Royal Rumble that would have made Naomi and Kofi Kingston proud. Some people have compared my size to Alexa Bliss, 5 feet of fury. Injuries, especially back injuries, and confidence issues led me to leave wrestling in the fall of 2019, but return in early 2020. And then I go on and on. I am currently dating a wrestler who you see on television almost weekly. I've received quite a bit of criticism for hosting parties Christmas time, New Year's, and my birthday, which just passed this past week. And then I would have gone on to that I competed for American Ninja Warrior, and then I was going to show you this picture. There you go. So congrats, Jay Carlos. He got it right. And I don't know, look, be honest with me, everyone. Be honest. Do you like contests like that? Because before, I was telling everyone, leave a comment in the section, and we pick someone at random. But I kind of like, you know, doing like these who am I's. I think, look, I think the hints I give are good enough. You know, it's not like extremely like, oh, I wrestled in the 1960s. You know, like even with Greg the Hammer Valentine, I did say early on that I appeared on a recent episode of Dynamite. So, okay, everybody loves the format. So you know what? We'll do it again next Wednesday and next Thursday. I have an awesome awesome, awesome Ronda Rousey photo. It's JSA authenticated also. And if you go on eBay right now and look up Ronda Rousey signed photos, 99% of them are going to be from her MMA career, or they're like a picture of, like somebody took a picture at an event and she signs it. The one I have is her dressed in her Roddy Piper outfit, you know, like, you know, her, you know, when she wears like the hot rod with the skirt and she's got the jacket. It's a posed picture. You go on eBay, you cannot find it. And again, I say this all the time. If you win something and you want to give it to someone else, you want to throw it on eBay, you want to say, I don't care. It's yours. Do whatever you want with it. But I chose Casey Cannizzaro because I was thinking a little bit more and more about their win yesterday against Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez. And, you know, you realize that WWE has not done a good job at all pushing her and Kaden Carter. And it's very difficult for us to suddenly turn on the support faucet, say that fast 10 times, and suddenly everybody get behind them. But, you know, when you take a step back and you actually, and here's another thing too. I saw people yesterday, I didn't see it until today, but I saw people that were tweeting last night ripping apart 2 segments from wrestling yesterday. People out there were ripping her finisher on Toni Storm. The way she landed like on her back and feet first and this and that. Toni Storm was on her back. And, you know, that is how you do the finisher, because you don't want to land stomach first and possibly injure yourself. You're landing on the opposite side of somebody's body. You know, if anybody ever notices, Jimmy Snuka's splashes would be a perfect example of it. If anybody goes on Google right now and looks up Jimmy Snuka splashes that he used to do, and he used to climb the top rope, do the I love you and jump off, a lot of times WWF would show you the replay in slow motion, and they wouldn't actually show you the contact right before Snuka landed on the person. They would freeze it and then go to commercial. Everybody know what I'm talking about? If you watch only the person on the mat about to take the splash, what do they always do? They do this. They bend up a little bit, so when they get hit, it absorbs it better. I mean, obviously, there's a lot more specifics involved. James O'Cus, am I going to show the photo? What photo are you talking about, James? I don't know what photo you're talking about. Please elaborate. But so my point is, even if you watch other people do spots off the top rope, you'll see the person on the mat actually like get up for a little bit, and then they get hit and they go backwards. Toni Storm is on her back. If she tries to bend the wrong way, you know, there's only one way to bend when you're on your back, the wrong way. She could injure her spine. She's going to look like a goof. So you have to stay flat. So there's a lot of specifics. Oh, yeah, no. Is he talking about the Ronda? Yes. I'm going to bring it home because I have everything in my office. It's safer over there. I was going through a lot of stuff in my office last week. I have a magazine. Remember Invasion? No, wasn't it? Yeah, Invasion. Remember the infamous magazine, Vince McMahon fighting Shane, and you had half of Vince's head and half of Shane's head? They did a Raw magazine, and I have it signed by Vince and Shane, and it's Beckett or JSA authenticated. I got that. I have an awesome magazine was a WWF Raw magazine, and it was the future of pro wrestling. And on the cover is Edge and Christian, and the Hardys, I believe. It's signed by all 4 of them. I have a beautiful framed photo of the Warrior. Someone else was sending me a photo of the Warrior to give away too, but I haven't heard from that person since. But I have a photo from the Ultimate Warrior's own collection where, always believe, and it's got his logo with the serial number. So I got some pretty damn good things to give away. Obviously, we got to balance it out the right way. You can't be giving away $1,000 worth of prizes every month. Otherwise, I'm going to have to put 90 commercials on every episode. But, James, we got plenty of time to win stuff. But, yeah, so we'll do that. So, hang on a second. Hold on. I want to just pull up a couple of more chats over here, a couple of shout-outs. Crazy Cruiserweight, which event would I go to? NCAA men's college basketball, March Madness, or the Summer Olympics? I would rather see the Summer Olympics. I always wanted to go to the Olympics. True story, back I think in what was the Dream Team? What year was that, 1992? The Dream Team? I don't remember what year it was. I know it was in the early 90s. This was when Tanya Harding hit Nancy Kerrigan also. 92. Thank you, Michael. And there's a local sports radio station here called WFAN. And back in 1992, they were giving away these Olympic packages. I have it boxed somewhere. I just haven't been able to find it. But I called them up and I won. And it was this awesome, magazine, but it was this big and hardcover, and it was all about the Olympics and all the games and this and that, and I had to go to their radio station to pick it up. But I always wanted to see the Olympics in person. College basketball, when I was a lot younger, I went to some St. John's University games when they were the Redmen, but then they had to change their name to the Red Storm. But no, I would probably go to the Olympics instead. But not saying that college basketball is boring. I mean, it is very exciting. I mean, some of the crowds for college basketball are even more rabid than the NBA. So SoFlyBmOrE, what's up? Can we still get bobbleheads? I don't know. Can we still get bobbleheads? Look, I'm going to do a magic act. Can we still get bobbleheads? I know this is kind of risky to do, but SoFly, I know you have contributed a lot in the past. So what I want you to do is I want you to email me, dontony@dontony.com. Yeah. There's a lot of stuffing stuff here, so this one's yours. Email me, and if you, you don't have to have it signed or anything like that. I mean, but if you email me your address, shipping address, I'll send one out. So I'll send it out to you maybe Monday. I'll have to wrap this up later on. By the way, speaking of wrapping, we're almost at 2 hours because we got to start wrapping this up soon because we got a show tomorrow again. Then we got one Monday. And people are pushing me to do one on the weekends. I think we do that maybe in the springtime or the summertime. When I start cutting these episodes down another half an hour, then we'll add another one. So, who's the greatest of all time? Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson? Growing up, I was almost obsessed with Mike Tyson. I watched every fight. I would watch every news broadcast. I tried to convince myself that this man was not a rapist. Iron Mike Tyson, especially from where I come from, I live in New York, the guy was just larger than life. I understand what he has done in the past. A lot of it was absolutely disgusting, inexcusable. I am ecstatic that he has turned his life around. I loved his fight against Roy Jones Jr. I couldn't wait. I admit it. I couldn't wait to go on social media and watch the usual suspects rip the shit out of Mike Tyson because you could see it. The jealousy that Mike at his age went out and did it, and all these other people sit in their house and rot and are just bitter and jealous that other people are getting theirs. Casey Cannizzaro. See this photo here? That's her birthday. Oh, no, that's New Year's. That's New Year's. You may not know this, but a couple of days ago, it was her birthday. And she went to a restaurant with a bunch of her friends. I think Apollo Crews was there as well. And they took pictures. I'd say there's probably about 12. And trust me, this has to do indirectly with Mike Tyson, what I'm about to say. It's about 12 people there. You know what? I'll box this later because something tells me the sound of foam is getting on the microphone. I don't want to annoy you all. But there's about 12 people sitting at the dinner table. It's Casey Cannizzaro's birthday. She's dating Ricochet. He's there. A bunch of people are there. All her close friends are there. She takes some pictures. She shows it online. Without naming names, go look for yourself. You have people that run websites and podcasts basically ripping the shit out of Casey Cannizzaro because we're in the middle of COVID. Nobody's wearing masks. Look how careless. In the middle of people dying, you're celebrating. This is the dramatic, toxic garbage that I try to stay away from online. And Casey Cannizzaro, she tried to be nice about it, and she responded to one person. And to me, that was a mistake. But she responded to one person. She's like, look, we were all wearing masks until we were seated. Then we took the masks off. That's not good enough. And you could see it because people in different areas of the world, different states, cannot go out to dinner, cannot have a birthday party. They have to shit on and curse and demean everybody who does. I can't thank you all enough for not taking shots at my parents. But here's just the fact. They live in Florida. And in Florida, masks in certain areas are really not worn all that much. I understand. I believe in wearing a mask. I wear a mask all the time. I sanitize all the time. I'm with all of you out there. But if you go to an area where there is very few cases of COVID and everybody's been tested, you walk into a restaurant, you get seated, then you take your mask off. Whether there's 2 people at the table or 12 people at the table, there's nobody around. And people just having pleasure in demeaning her because they can't allow other people to have enjoyment. Their lives are a bitter mess. It's jealousy. So when you see Mike Tyson making this comeback, and I watched what I saw, I immediately went to social media and I sat back like this, just waiting to see the usual suspects criticize. And I'm like, man, these people, that's why I say even with me, that's why you see I have very small footprint on social media now, because even with my own stuff, you know, I realized that 2+ years ago with a lot of people online, you post good news. People are bitter. The better your news, the more bitter they become. And if you even look at the pictures look, I don't care if people like my stuff or don't. I know who cares. And this is who I do these shows for. Every one of you out there, whether I talk to you or not, whether you're in the chat room or not, whether you're posting or you're just lurking but enjoying the stuff, this is who I do it for. But for the people that are active on social media, I don't really care if somebody posts something or not, but it's telling when you see all repeatedly, every time you post something good, there are people that disappear from the net for a day or two, and that's the excuse. Oh, I didn't even know. I had no idea. And you see the deal. Just go at the post from 2 days ago, I posted a picture of me and my mom getting the COVID vaccine. We've all gone through a mess for the last year. And this is an important moment. And there are the same usual suspects that look the other way because they're not getting vaccinated, because they can't have good news. It's this. And it happens with Tyson. It happens with Casey Catanzaro. It happens with nobody like me, getting vaccinated. This is what you had to deal with. But with that all said, showing all this love to Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali is the greatest of all time. Muhammad Ali is the greatest of all time. Yes, a huge part of him was his charisma and how beloved. I know the controversy, the name change and not wanting to, enlist. But still, Muhammad Ali was the most beloved person on this earth at one point. And even if he wasn't beloved, I just was mesmerized with his boxing. Loved it. I think Mike Tyson is this close, but you got to understand too, way before our time, there was Joe Louis. There was Jack Dempsey. There were other boxers out there that might put rings around Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali. I mean, there are tons. So, but comparing those two, as much as I preferred Mike Tyson, had a stronger connection, and maybe because Muhammad Ali was a couple of years before my time, I still think Muhammad Ali is the greatest of all time. Did I play the audio? No, I didn't. I got one I'll share with you right now. Remember, anyone out there remember Hotline, Captain Ivan? Unfortunately, Captain Ivan had a stroke around 2005, I think it was, around 2005. When he had his stroke, I brought him on my hotline anyway. And I felt so bad for the guy because he wanted to come on and just talk about wrestling because he did a hotline and he loved doing his hotline. And when he had a stroke, he couldn't talk really much at all anymore. I brought him on and it was very, very difficult for real because, he couldn't talk. You could hear it. But before he had his stroke, and don't you dare say that I'm the cause of it, about 17, 18 years ago, when I was doing stuff for XPW, Captain Ivan was on a bus trip or two, and then there was an incident, where I threw a chair at him. I'm sure some of you know the story. In front of the ECW arena, I threw a chair at Captain Ivan and almost hit a bunch of people. Outside the building, he got me so pissed off. But about 18 years ago, you remember all those prank phone calls where somebody would call like a Chinese restaurant, somebody called a whorehouse, somebody called, and they would play Arnold Schwarzenegger sound bites. What is your name? What do you do? Well, who's your daddy? My name is Jack blah, blah, blah. Whatever it was. You remember those soundboards, those prank calls? If you have never, ever heard of those, go on YouTube later. You'll spend an hour or two and you will die laughing from it. People would call people up and just play soundboard. I always wanted to do it. So I ended up getting software so I can have a soundboard in front of me. And I downloaded all these Robert De Niro clips because obviously Goodfellas, my favorite movie of all time. So I wanted to test it on someone. So I prank called Captain Ivan and I played nothing but soundboard clips of Robert De Niro. The audio quality is terrible. Remember, I called him on a telephone. This is before we had mixers or anything. This is 17 years ago around. So I'm going to play it for you now because I still have it. At the very end, he realizes that it's me because I used to prank call him a lot. My nickname at the time was Funker. If you ever looked at the Blackheart shirt for my hotline, you see zombie, damage, arson, Funker. That was my nickname, Funker. I was a Funker because Terry Funk's my favorite wrestler. So at the very end of the call, he figures it out that I pranked him and he says, oh, this is the Funker. This is Anthony. So I'll share it for you now. Again, keep in mind, this is 17 years ago, at least 17, 18 years ago, because this was around the time I was working for XPW. No, that would be 19 years ago. So the audio is primitive, but I still think you'll get a kick out of it, because I don't know how someone would go this long. Even if you realize there's a soundboard, why wouldn't you just hang up the phone? This is 1,000% legit. I present to you now me prank calling Captain Ivan.
Hello?
Who's this?
Hello, who's this?
Can I ask you something?
What?
Have you ever watched pornographic videos?
Who's this?
This is Jack Walsh.
Don't do me a favor, don't call this number no more.
You make one more move on me, you motherfucker. I'll fucking cut your fucking balls off. I'll shove them up your fucking ass. I'll fucking bury you. I'll put fucking ice picks in your eyes. I'll chuck your fucking eyeballs. I'll send them to your fucking family so they can eat it for dessert.
Go ahead.
Cut the crap.
No.
Are you a pothead?
Your mother is.
Have you ever smoked pot?
Piece of shit. I'm gonna call the cops, pal.
Are you crazy?
Stop your shit.
Now say goodbye, you lying little piece of shit.
What? What are you talking about?
Don't you see what's going on here? Don't you see what's at stake?
What?
I'm trying to tell you that. What do you want? You want the tears to come out of my eyes?
You're a sick person. I don't even know what the fuck you are.
What am I telling you for?
You didn't tell me shit.
If I talk to you, and you turn me into a fag, I'm gonna kill you, you understand?
Go ahead. Don't threaten me.
Can I ask you something?
No.
Don't waste my time.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Wait.
Liar, whore, and you know it!
Go ahead. You're an asshole.
If I hear any more shit out of you, I'm gonna fucking bust your head.
Go ahead. I'm talking to you, all right? You are a piece of shit. Ha 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 ha, your ass. What?
Thank you. Bye. Who's this?
Wait a minute, who's this? You don't know who this is? What?
This is Jack Walsh.
You are. You're Slash.
Can I ask you something?
Oh, you don't have to ask me shit.
He thought it was Slash from XPW.
Don't push it, fucker.
Go ahead. I'm pushing it, asshole. I'm pushing the fucking buttons to see what...
You sick son of a bitch.
All you do is talk for no fucking action behind a phone.
Now you shut your goddamn pie hole.
You have to shut my mouth. Come down here and I'll beat the shit out of you with a bat. What?
I'm not gonna tell you again.
What?
Yeah, you heard me.
What?
What?
Can I ask you something?
I know who this is. It's the Funker. Oh shit, I know who this is.
No. I don't think that's any of your concern.
What?
Now say goodbye, you lying little piece of shit.
That's it. I think I did a pretty damn good job. You know, it's not easy to get somebody to stay on the phone that long. So, yeah, that's me prank calling them. I'll share with you a little more audio. I haven't had the chance to trim this down a little bit. But if you just want to hear a little couple of minutes of it, and if it gets tiresome, just type in the chat room, okay, enough, and I'll stop it. This is just a little segment from the Mass Maniac when he had that Captain Lenny guy from last week. He had him and me on at the same time because this guy, Captain Lenny, remember I said he wanted to take me to court? Some really crazy-ass people out there. Captain Lenny goes on Mass Maniac's show, and Mass Maniac's trying to find out why he doesn't like me. When you hear the reasons why, this is the nonsense I had to go through at that time with hotlines. So here's a little sample of it. And again, when it gets a little tiresome, let me know. I'll shut it off. I'll trim it down and I'll share it next time.
It is Wednesday night. I am your cult hero, the one, the only Mass Maniac. This is the Mass Maniac hotline, and I'm warning everybody now. Parental discretion is advised. I gotta tell everybody, this is the word I've been hearing all week after I had Captain Lenny on the hotline. Disturbed and disturbing. Tonight Tonight, everybody, I am warning everybody, be prepared for a very disturbing hotline. Because we have, in one corner, we have world-famous hotline host that nobody seems to know. The man who has sex with his own dog in the bathtub, Captain Lenny. Lenny, say hello.
Hello, I am Captain Lenny of the Pile Driver Hotline. Call it now at 212-465-3318. Yes.
Okay,
I had dinner with Wildman Jack Armstrong yesterday.
Quiet. And in the other corner, his arch nemesis, the man who hates him and has his own hotline, the one, the only, to be perfectly honest, to tell you the truth, Anthony de Blasi.
How are you, Mr. Maniac?
This is before they called me Don Tony, by the way. And you know what? SoFly, I'll post a picture of him on Twitter. I'll post a picture on Twitter. In fact, I got a YouTube link of him very recently. I'll post it later.
Reading an option one. Each one lasts 15 minutes for a grand total of 30 minutes. At the end of the first option, Lenny, what do?
Take your doo-doo caca covered fingers that you have by a dog and press option 1. And by the way, I like Lila on your hotline. She's great.
Okay, it'll then pull your simply discovered answers on over to option 1, where for another 15 minutes, me and these two geniuses are gonna do something. I don't know what, but I do apologize in advance, everybody. And then you'll hear a beep and you leave me a message, and I apologize again. Anyway, you guys have had some hated rivalries.
Kavan, I would do a reunion show with him. Yeah.
What is the problem you have with Anthony de Blasi?
Okay, the problem is, first of all, I used to be part of the Choke Slam hotline. And when I was on the Choke Slam, I came on, and Howie and all these people knocked Vinny, and Vinny gave him off the hotline, thinks he sucks, right? And Vinny told me that Anthony used to knock me on his hotline, and I was listening to Anthony's hotline, that I'm not a broadcaster, I should be kicked off the hotline, because I don't know what I'm talking about, my voice is shitty and all that. And I want to clear this up, and I do want to make one thing perfectly clear, ladies and gentlemen. I've been around wrestling since the days of Bruno Sammartino and Prince Ukea.
Isn't it Ayukea?
Ayukea. And I used to watch wrestling with Ray Morgan from Washington, D.C. And I had dinner with an old-time wrestler yesterday, the Carnegie Deli, Wildman Jack Armstrong, who was formerly Lenny Solomon of the World Wrestling Federation. And he said he hasn't seen me since the 70s in the Miami Beach or
Lenny.
What?
Lenny, what does this have to do with you hating Anthony?
No, but Anthony used to knock me. Anthony
I just posted a link in the chat room. If you click that link, you could see Captain Lenny as of about 8 months ago. You'll see him. Now, keep in mind, this is from 8 months ago, that video. What you're hearing is 19 years ago. Just imagine how wacky he is now.
Anthony used to knock me.
Lenny, I'll hang up on you.
Okay.
You know what? I feel like that Franklin guy on the radio. Listen, you called me, Lenny. I want to have a few minutes so I can tell Anthony de Blasi what a fucking asshole he is. Fuck him. What happened?
Yeah, why does he knock my hotline all the time?
What did I say about that?
You know, like sometimes, like when you're on, sometimes you say, well, fans, it's up to you to call it. You know, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And what about the candles with the fire with the Hanukkah?
Wait, Anthony,
burning the candles?
Why did you leave a message on Captain Lenny's hotline that said you hope these Hanukkah candles burn his house down?
Okay, let me first apologize to Captain Lenny for making that comment. I do admit that I said it. Now, Lenny, is it true?
Wait a minute, hold on. You admit you said it?
I'll tell you why I said it.
Sean, get on the computer. Stop typing.
No, hear me out. Lenny, is it true on Hanukkah you left me about a dozen messages accusing me of shutting your hotline down?
I said it was either you, Vinny G, or Victor.
Right. So I left you a message saying, leave me alone, stop leaving me messages, isn't it Hanukkah? And you kept going. So I said, you know what? you know, maybe your Hanukkah candles will tip over and burn your house down because you're leaving me all these threats on Hanukkah. So obviously Hanukkah didn't matter too much to you, and you were pissing me off with all the messages. So I said, you know what? You know, maybe your candles will tip over and burn your house down.
Yeah, but do you really want my life? Do you know, I got elderly parents. Yeah, I can't afford that. And you know, Tim got parents too. You should leave Tim alone too.
Lenny, do your parents visit you at the group home?
What?
Do your parents visit you at the home?
No, I'm not in the home.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Oh,
He likes women.
I stay with my parents.
Oh, okay. All right, go on.
You know, but I've been around wrestling a long time.
Lenny, you called me up and you told me all these issues and all the fighting you want to do.
Yeah, why did you?
I gotta tell you, Lenny, I'm a little disappointed because I've seen better fighting out of Rockshaw.
Yeah, and why? And Anthony, is it true that you make fun? Isn't it true that people tell me that the Jasmine and the Blue Mean? What's the story with that? With the Russian mafia coming to your job?
Remember the Russian mafia story?
To tell you the truth here.
Yeah.
That's it. I can
That's
just feel the next
100% bullshit.
Yeah, with Jasmine and Blue Mean.
The last conversation I had with Jasmine St. Clair was talking about Gino Moore for what he did to a fucking promotion trying to shut it down in Jersey that time.
Well, what is he, Anthony, what is he talking about?
I have no idea. She never
Lenny,
came to
what
my
are you talking
job.
about?
The last conversation I had with her was pleasant because I took her side over the situation that happened with Gino
Lenny,
Moore.
what is the story?
Well, what about the Blue Mean?
What about the Blue Mean?
Yeah, well, how come he doesn't care about you?
Because I have no
Nobody cares.
relationship with him.
And what about PW Insider with Mike Johnson? How come you're jealous?
Mike
of that?
Johnson!
I'm jealous of nobody.
That's what people are saying.
Well, that's what people want.
19
Yeah, but
years
every
ago,
time I hear your
bringing up Mike
hotline,
Johnson.
You knock people. Every time you knock Triple H, you knock the guy that did the interview with Triple H. You know, I'm criticizing your hotline. Why can't you just stick to wrestling?
If you don't like my hotline, why do you call it?
No, I like your hotline. I think you're intelligent, but you have to stick to wrestling, not knock other hotlines.
You want to know why I criticized the interview with Triple H?
Yeah.
Because it was a soft interview, and he should have asked Triple H a little bit more hard-nosed questions as to why people were released, why they hiring all these non-wrestling personnel. I felt that the interview was done only because the movie was coming out and the fitness book was coming out.
Mm-hmm. And what about being a money mark? Why are they saying that? Huh?
What about being a money
Yeah,
mark?
why are they saying that you're a money mark? That you're only interested in money?
Let me ask you a question. Who is they? When you say they?
No, you know, people are saying around the United States. Oh yeah, you're a money mark. You're only out for you.
People around the United States.
I know Carl. I know, trying to think some people on the message board. Tom Brandy. I heard of Al Leiter posting about me. But who you reference to as
I don't know, but you know, every time. Well, and what's with the promotional thing with wrestling?
Lenny, I don't understand where this is going.
Yeah.
Why are you angry with me?
You know, every time I hear you knocking my line, a lot of times you have knocked my line on.
When was the last time that I said Captain Lenny's hotline sucks?
Oh, that was about a month ago, 2 months
When
ago.
did I say this?
Oh, about a month or two ago.
I said this on my hotline?
Yeah, maybe months ago. But every time you knock Tim's line, you knock my line.
I have hours
You knock
of shit
Tim.
like
How
this.
come you call him a turkey on Thanksgiving? That's not right.
How come I called him a turkey?
Yeah, by his parents, you know? I mean, Tim is my friend.
Listen, my parents were over my house. My parents were over my house. My mother was putting something in a bird.
He made fun of him.
And I apologize to him. It wasn't intended to make fun of the situation with his parents.
Mm-hmm.
But who is they? When you keep saying they.
No, you know, I hear all these things.
From who?
And then after Ivan had a stroke, hello.
God.
After Ivan had a stroke, you brought him on your line.
That's because you said Anthony says, well.
I mean, the guy threatened me verbally. He said he was going to slap me in the face.
But Tim threatened me as well, and you have him on.
Yeah, but Lenny, you called me up and screamed on the hotline every day about how you want to confront him.
Yeah, I think I'm a more smart. Oh yeah, he did say one time that because I go to wrestling, that I'm a sucker and I'm a mark.
Anthony, what's the story with the prostitute?
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, Vinny G called your house and tried to send escort services to your house. And I
True
was
story.
on your line. Vinny said to me,
So, Lenny,
wait, huh?
Lenny, you were involved in it?
No, not me, but Vinny called Anthony's house and tried to send prostitute escort services.
How many phone calls did I get from hookers back then?
That was a lot.
How many's a lot?
Oh, about 10, 20, but you denied it. You said we never called it. But
Right.
but you never said to
did
Vinny
you call?
at USA Pro, you said, Vinny, well, I'm gonna let you in, I'm gonna pay for you and all that. Why do you let the Vinnies in USA Pro and then it makes me feel like shit and I can't go?
Number one, I don't pay for them. Number two, I can't tell who to come in and who not to come in. It's not my promotion. It's not my place. So why don't you get mad at the Mass Maniac for letting him in? Why don't you say, Mass Maniac, why do you let Michael Jackson into your
He
show?
pays.
Yeah, but even if he pays, you should be barred from the building.
Yeah, Lenny,
What?
I still didn't hear the story about the Jasmine St. Clair story.
Oh,
Who did you hear that from? Because actually, I've been told that you were the one that started that rumor.
what?
About what?
That Jasmine.
No,
I
Vinny
never heard-
started that
here's the
rumor.
problem.
Vinny G.
Hold it, stop it. I have never heard the story. That's what I'm trying to get to.
But
I don't know
Vinny
who
G,
was talking.
Vinny G told me about Jasmine and Blue Meanie coming to your job.
That's news to me. This is the first I'm hearing
Yep.
about that.
So you should talk to Vinny about that.
Now, Lenny, what about you threatening to sue Anthony?
Yeah, I just wanted to go to 346 Broadway
That's
to
easy.
meet Anthony face to face and mediate with these two bums like Victor and Vinny.
But me-
Why do they have to bother people? You know what I'm saying? I mean, since you met Vinny in the past, Anthony, I'm just trying to make a point here that Victor and Vinny are no good and they're no good,
I think that's it. There's like another like 30 minutes of it, but I just took a little sample for now. Yeah, so I have, not only do I have hours of this, the most disturbing shit is this guy had a feud with this Vinny G guy, but he also had a feud with some guy named Howie. And all they would do 20, 30, 40, 50 times every couple of days, they would fight each other by leaving messages on my hotline. This one would say a whole bunch of shit, leave a message. This one, as if I'm going to relay the messages back and forth. You know what I did? I saved them all. I have some wild shit. I just have to, go through them because, it's just, you got to remember. And I did figure it out. That was 2003. So that was 18 years ago. But I have stuff going back to 1999. And if you noticed when he said, that I met this person already, I always get people that'll say to me, oh, would you ever do a get together with this person? And I say, that's why when I say I did 40, 50, 60 indie wrestling shows in New York from 2002 to like 2014, and people showed up and a lot of people didn't. I think a lot of people that say, oh, I would do a get together, I think they just say that to just feel like they're part of the conversation. But I mean, there was countless shows that I was at, and some people showed up and some people never did. So, but, oh, you're very welcome, Muhammad, Southern Love, Devin, Austin Nance, Little Road Call, Kavan Lewis, Neil, Sam. I'm glad you liked it. I'll get more audio. I have one that is, I'm really unsure if I should play it. I know some of you on Patreon that are on now heard it 2 weeks ago when he sung the national anthem. I honestly don't know if I should play that. I mean, I am guilty to add music to it, but he sings the national anthem and he says some horrendously bad stuff. And this was right after 9/11. And it was just some of the most disturbing stuff. And I kept it and I put the music in the background to it. So, no, Neil, it's not anything that would get in trouble. It's just, for me, I have limitations. I don't like, I have tons of stuff of him using the N-word, and I think I probably would be better bleeping some of that stuff out. It's just inappropriate. I mean, I want people to laugh. I don't want people to get insulted and angry. That's the reason why I'm sharing some of this stuff. But just imagine, when you see some of the podcast bullshit that I go through online, you see some people that are on YouTube, that wish my channel nothing but negativity because, it's our family is growing, at a nice pace. This is nothing new. Just like even stuff on TV. If you heard that clip a couple of minutes ago when he said that I talked about Triple H, that I criticized Triple H because, Mike Johnson didn't ask him about hiring all these non-wrestling writers and stuff like that. That's 18 years ago. So what you hear on TV nowadays, or you see people talking about, why does WWE keep hiring Hollywood writers? This has been going on for 20 years. When does the conversation get old? So that's why, Mighty, I do have the Eddie Guerrero audio, but that's such a downer, man. That's a real downer. I mean, I could share it one day, but that's a real down. Maybe we wait till the anniversary where everybody reminisces a little bit, but that's just so sad. I mean, I listened to that back a couple of months ago, and that was pretty hard, to hear. I mean, there was a lot of beautiful tributes. That's the only reason why I would share it, because you would just hear wrestling fans in droves. This is when it happened. I mean, there's a lot of people still really, really affected by that all these years later. And that's tells you how special Eddie Guerrero was. But, when you start hearing that raw emotion 24 hours after it happened, it's kind of rough, man. It's kind of rough. But, so I have hours and hours and hours of crazy-ass footage. Like I said, I found over the weekend the audio of us announcing that we were going to be starting to shut the wrestling hotlines down and going on the net full time. At that time, nobody was doing this, what we were doing. So it's pretty cool. But anyway, I want to start wrapping this up because we've gone 2:20 already. Remember, I'll be back here Friday night right after SmackDown. We'll talk SmackDown. I will have the quarter-hour ratings for AEW and NXT this week, so we'll see, what really caught on with the fans. And, by the way, wanted to show you this. They announced it today. I honestly think, in my opinion, AEW should have waited for TV to announce this. I honestly don't know why you would just post it on social media. I mean, it's cool for the fans, like, AEW, they don't tease it. They don't milk it for weeks. I personally think that they should have done something on TV to announce this. But you know what, Mongo Slade? I am 100% in agreement with you with your question. I wonder if it's going to be cinematic. I personally think it will. I don't think this is going to be a street fight in the building. I think this may end up being a street fight in the streets. That's my thinking. I really think that this may turn up into a street fight. And again, the Britt Baker Big Swall dentist stuff was some of the worst stuff I've ever seen, no matter what fed it was. Outside of that, WWE and AEW have done a pretty damn good job. Well, Ethan Page and the Karate Man last week is now giving a run for its money. But AEW and WWE, with the pre-recorded matches they've done a pretty good job. And it's not just WrestleMania, and it's not just the Stadium Stampede, but you also think about Money in the Bank, that ladder match that they did in Stamford, some of the other pre-recorded stuff. WWE's, even the Fiend, Braun Strowman, that match was excellent. It wasn't much to it, but the production value was great. So I personally think this will deliver. And you know what? Although I wish AEW would have just announced it on television next week instead of just a social media post, they have plenty of time to record this. Plenty of time. If I were them, start preparing this shit now. Start getting ready to record it now. You don't need to wait a week or 2 weeks before the pay-per-view. Start getting that shit done now. Get it in the books. I mean, they have so much time to put this together. It has to be good. It's almost impossible for it to disappoint. So I'm completely fine with this. And you know, based on what I said before about Tyson returning to the ring, Casey Catanzaro celebrating a birthday, you're going to see the same shit happen with Sting. No matter how good this ends up being, you're going to have the usual suspects ripping on Sting's age. He's old. This is ridiculous. This is stupid. And they'll hide it behind, oh, what if he gets injured? It's not about injury. It's about jealousy that other people are doing things and people are not. They're sitting at home. Look at how we opened up the show today. 10-10-10, who joined us live. 10-10-10 wrote this earlier. If I could find it, here it is. We opened up the show literally a minute in. Today is the 21st. Well, we're now into Friday, but the beginning of the show was the 21st day of the 21st year of the 21st century. And I wrote something earlier, and a lot of people liked it, and it's true. I look back at the first 21 days of January, the first 21 days of the year 21 of century 21, and I'm kind of surprised and taken back by the amount of progress that I have had in 21 days. At my office, creating this Thursday show that was not even a thing before New Year's Eve. And you think about even, getting vaccinated, doing other things, preparing this, doing that. I'm pretty happy with the first 21 days of the year. And, I said online earlier, toast to all of you out there that refuse to make 2021 the new 2020. A lot of you out there refuse to let 2021 turn to shit. And it's sad because you see people on, especially, because there's nowhere else for us to see them. When I say we see people on social media, where else are you going to see them? On the street? Where are you going to see them? You only see them on social media. That goes for politicians or anyone else. Where do you see them? Social media. But it's a shame to realize we're almost 1 month into 2021, and a lot of people who promised a hell of a lot of things, personally, professionally, socially, hobbies, and have wasted another month. I see people that I know in my neighborhood who have done nothing for the first 21 days in 2021. They have done nothing. They have done zero. Absolutely nothing. And I just don't understand. You would think new year, new presidency, new outlook, hope, vaccine, whether you believe in it or not, be hopefully the start of the beginning of the end, and still nothing has changed. It's sad, man. It's sad. VJ would like to know, can anyone suggest a good pair of earbuds? See, I don't use earbuds. I actually, and I don't want to start dropping lights. I bought these. I took the thing up, but I bought these on Amazon. I don't see a brand name on here, but some of the most comfortable headphones. Oh, here it is. One Audio. Almost sounds like Beavis and Butthead. On Audio, like Cornholio. One Oneodio. I know you don't want earbuds. I know you don't want this. You want earbuds, but I know that this company makes earbuds. These things I paid like $25 for, and they are incredible. They have some dirt cheap earbuds on Amazon in case you want to go check it out. It's just me because the way I have everything set up here, I don't need to use headphones. If you notice, a lot of people use headphones when they do their shows, and that's more because they need to monitor their audio. Luckily for me, the way everything's set up, I don't need to do that. So, yeah, and you know what? A little piece of advice to all of you out there before I leave. You go on Amazon, be very wary of some of the products that have reviews. And what I mean by that is, if you see a product that has like 30, 40 positive reviews and they're all done within 24 hours, they probably paid a company to post those reviews. You want people where it says verified purchase, obviously, but you want the reviews to be spread out. Always pay attention to that, because I've made that mistake over the last couple of years. I'll look for a particular item where there's something I need for the house, something that I need hobby-wise, something related to this, food, and a product will come out brand new, have all these positive reviews. I order it, and then I look at the reviews a little closer. There's broken English on like every single one of them, and then you see like no names, or the names will be very similar, and you realize it's just a company posting the reviews just to try to make their product seem popular when it's not. Got to be, oh, you know what, Neil? I agree with you. Some places will offer you gift cards for leaving 5-star reviews. Almost every keto supplement, keto cookies that I buy, crackers, I get it, and inside the box there will be a little paper. Want a free one? All you got to do is visit this website. And I go on the website and I type in my Amazon order number, and I think that's it. Oh, I typed in my order as proof of purchase, send me my free item. Then it'll say, please post a review. So that's the catch. Now, for me, luckily, you know, if something I got really, really sucked, I'm not going to post a review, because why would I even want their item for free if it sucks? So usually the things that I get, like I use, I take apple cider vinegar pills. I just started taking them about 2 weeks ago, and they work great. And when I got it, right on the top of the bottle, there was a sticker. One free bottle, visit our website. I go on the website, and they offered a free bottle as long as I posted a positive review. So for me, I was being honest. But a lot of places do that. A lot. If you leave a review, we'll give you a $20 gift card. We'll give you a free item. We'll give you this. We'll give you that. You know, if you really like something, leave the positive review. I mean, you get something on Amazon and you really like it, you have the opportunity to get another one for nothing. You know, for you just being honest, do it, man. Seriously. VJ, have I tried the no sugar keto peanut butter cups? Yes. Yes. Are you talking about Rebel? Rebel with the peanut butter cups? Rebel came out with peanut butter cups. 2 cups is 1 net carb. They're out of this world. Rebel has amazing keto cups. I've had the keto fat bombs that are like peanut butter cups as well. I have them inside. I'm not going to take them out now. But yeah, peanut butter cups are some of my favorites. There's some pretty good ones out there. But yeah, Neil, I like taking the apple cider vinegar pills. I mean, I have the yellow bottle that says it has the mother in it. For people that don't know what that means, just Google it. But I like taking the pills because, you know, I don't like sometimes just douse, especially after I brush my teeth. The last thing I want to douse right before I go to sleep is a shot of apple cider vinegar, you know. So, oh yeah, the picture. See, thank you. Thank you, Kevon Lewis. See, he picked up on that. That's what I mean. Sometimes I forget to take a little picture out of it because I'm looking at you guys and I'm not looking at the screen. But anyway, where can you get the pills? Amazon. Amazon. There's a website also, Kiss My Keto. There's a bunch of them. But if you want, I mean, I could post some links later on. I'll give you some links to, but I don't make any commission or anything like that, but I could post a couple of links to some of the things that I have. And by the way, one last time, I'll post it again. If you want to see what Captain Lenny looks like, I just posted the link in the chat room. Just click that link and you'll get to see what Captain Lenny looks like as of 8 months ago. So, but anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I hope everybody has a great night. What time is it? 12:39? Hey, you know, that's one good thing about Thursdays. This is the only night that I really don't have to type a synopsis. So all I got to really do is just upload the audio, save it, put it on the websites for the audio only, family members that tune in, friends, and call it a night. So I'm going to go pop myself an Ambien. Thank God I only drank about a quarter of this cup of coffee because something tells me I'd be up late. And you know what? I thank everybody for the well wishes the last 2 days after getting this vaccine. I feel a lot better today. I still feel a little bit off, but, you know, as the doctor said, that means it's working. You know, it's basically, I guess the way I feel about it is when you get the COVID vaccine, it's almost as if what they inject you, it's telling your body, yo, you got some virus in you, and you need to do this, this, and this to kick its ass. So my body's like, wait, I don't see no virus. Just shut the fuck up and make your antibodies. So now my body is starting to listen, and it's now starting to make the antibodies. So it's creating antibody system, a set of instructions for a virus that's not really in me. It's like a false alarm. When the false alarm starts wearing off, which is 4 weeks later, I go back and get another shot, and now your body's like, what the fuck? What now I got to work again? And the second shot, the side effects supposedly even worse, but they're not injecting you with the virus. It's kind of tricking your body into thinking it has a virus, and it's making the solution for it. This way, if you ever do have part of that virus get into your system, whether somebody sneezes, you breathe it in, you rub your eyes, your body's like, oh, I know who that son of a bitch is. Fuck you. You ain't wanted, and it kicks its ass, and it's out of here. My mom and dad are doing great. My father had a little bit of a sore throat today, but my mom is doing fine. My mom, who is at most risk, she's the one that actually was taking it the best. So good for her, man. Good for her. But then again, if you follow me on a regular basis, you know how my mom is. For all I know, my mom could be in, I don't want to say agony, but she might be dealing with side effects. But so I don't worry, and so my father doesn't worry. She tells us, oh, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. So, you know, I'll probably take a ride over by her house tomorrow night for a little bit, you know, a couple of hours before SmackDown starts, and, you know, make sure everything is okay. And then I'll see them Tuesday anyway, because every Tuesday I spend over there Tuesday and Wednesday, and then I come back here Wednesday afternoon, and then I stay here, you know, to watch the shows and do Wednesday Night Dynamite and everything. So, all right, I'm going to get out of here. As I always say, if you enjoyed tonight's show, I'd appreciate it if you hit that like button. That tells YouTube you recommend the show, and they will in turn recommend it to others. I'll tell you one last thing before I go, which is more statistics, but I think you'll get a kick out of this. I don't pay attention to the analytics like other places do. I just don't have the time yet to really start dissecting how somebody finds out about the show, where they click it, because you got recommended videos, suggested videos, outside sources. There's so many different. That's one thing I do love about YouTube. They have about 100 different statistics where you could actually fine tune and figure out exactly who, you know, watches the most and where and why and this and that. Do you know, and this is no bullshit, do you know that over the last 3 weeks since January 1st, I have checked out Breakfast Soup, which is on Mondays. I've checked out Wednesday Night Dynamite. I've checked out the Thursday shows, and I've checked out the Don Tony show. And as far as suggested videos and people watching the video from the playlist, it's not even close. The longest average time of people watching a show at one sitting. Because remember, if a show's 2 hours, you may watch 30 minutes and go back, watch another hour later on, and then maybe another day watch the final 30 minutes. It's not like everybody just sits from beginning to end or nothing. But out of all the shows since January 1st, Thursday has been averaging the longest amount of time of people tuning in. You know, people watch other, and you know what? Maybe because I do the timestamps now, maybe people could just go right to the topics they want to check out. But it's pretty amazing, man. I mean, it felt right to do this on Thursdays. The only thing I have to do now is figure out, do we keep the 10:05 p.m. time slot or do we start earlier? Because 3 weeks ago, when we started this, I did it at 9:05. Mish, I don't want to say he complained. He's got his wrestling soup, and I do not want to overlap that at all. But Mish was still doing wrestling soup at 9:05. He was not done yet. A few minutes later, he was done. So I said, oh, okay. You know, so because he usually finishes at 9, my thinking is he finishes at 9, I'll start my show 9:05. So, and he said they do after chats also. I said, okay. So then he finishes on average at 9, does a half an hour after chat. That's 9:30. I start at 10:05. It's not even close. Well, this past week, tonight, last week, the last 2 weeks, he's finished his show around 9:10 and no after show, which means that we could probably start this at 9:30 from now on, and it does not overlap, because one thing I do not want to do is overlap his show. So, you know, I'll leave it up to you guys. You know, you speak up and let me know. For a majority of you out there, you seem to like 10:05, because if you're going to stay up live to enjoy the show, I don't think it's that much of a difference whether it's 9:30 or 10 o'clock. It's only a half an hour difference. For some of us who get older, an extra half an hour sleep is a big deal. But, you know, we'll see what happens. But I am thinking about the possibility of starting at 9:30 going forward. I just want to make sure it does not conflict with Wrestling Soup, because this is their night, and I do not want to, I don't want people having to choose one or the other. I know we have a Patreon show that also streams tonight. And by the way, for anyone out there that wants to check out the Patreon channel, patreon.com/Don Tony. If you notice, I don't really plug it much because I don't want anybody to think that, you know, it's just a money grab for but if you're interested, this Tuesday, myself, Mish, and Kevin Castle will be doing an episode together. The last Tuesday of every month, we do an episode together. Something that our Patreon family has always asked for, and I do it to oblige. So if you want to go check it out, you're more than welcome to. And as I always do, which maybe a lot of you are not aware, if you sign up and you don't like it, you DM me. Look, I tried it. I really don't like it. I refund your money. Now, you can't wait a week or two. It ends. But if you sign up and, you know, same day, I don't like it, send it right back. I've always done that since day one. So, and I thank you all for tuning in. So, Howard D is asking me how I am dealing with Trump's loss. I didn't vote for him this in November. I was a little I'm fed up with the government. What I wrote a couple of weeks ago in that tweet about the United States of jabroni, go fuck yourself. I mean that. I'm fed up with the government. I'm fed up with all the political stuff. You know, I saw today that Amazon reached out to the Biden cabinet and said that they're willing to help get the vaccine out to 100 million people. And that's awesome, by Amazon. Why didn't they offer this to Trump and maybe save some lives in the process? There's too much political bullshit going on. You know, I even see with money. I understand there's a lot of people suffering, but my thinking is, even if you have to pump gas to make some money right now, pump fucking gas. I've seen people, and this is probably what put me over the edge to just say fuck politics. I watched people, some people who I respected, who were conservatives that, always were complaining about the debt, don't want socialism, don't want Green New Deal stuff, and we're totally against, this crazy, the trillions that they want to try to push. And then because Andrew Yang tells the world, because the 2 Georgia elections went for Democrats and now the Democrats have the Senate, Andrew Yang posted a tweet telling everyone, now you'll get your $2,000 check. And I watched countless people who claimed that they were Republican, conservative, believed it, all praised that they were getting a $2,000 check. And that just shows you that people pretty much will just totally go against even their beliefs for a handout. And that pretty much was the deciding factor. You know what? Just fuck politics. I'll get whatever I can get. You give me an extra $1,400 on a stimulus? No problem. I'll fucking buy food with it. I'll fucking buy toys with it. I'll buy a PlayStation 5 if I feel like it. If you're going to keep handing shit out, I'm going to start taking it. I'm going to start taking it. And then you got these Republican assholes, which I brought up before, that one guy, Mitch McConnell? Oh, no, we don't want to approve the stimulus check because we don't want to bankrupt our children. Motherfucker, there's no big difference whether there's 21 trillion in debt or 22 trillion in debt. Guy makes it sound like that suddenly because of this check, there's going to be unbelievable debt for our kids. You already have 20 some odd trillion in debt. And you think another trillion is going to be... These people are just shady, man. Shady. Seriously, I will never tell you all who to follow, what to do and what not to do. But if I give you my view on it, this is what I plan on doing in 2021 and beyond. I do whatever makes me happy. I do whatever puts a smile on my face. I do whatever gives me the most satisfaction. And that is working, my fiance, my parents, my hobbies, doing the shows for all of you, my 1991 Lincoln, playing some games, trying to, eat a little healthier, and that's it. That's it. I could care less about anyone else for the most part. Will I still help someone? Sure. I helped about 10 people in my neighborhood get vaccinated this week. They had no idea how to go through the process. This was before they took down a lot of vaccines yesterday because they're running low. But I showed people, I walked it through on the website. Within 10 minutes, they got an appointment. I'll help people that, that need it. But the people that just want to take and not do stuff for themselves, I'm done with that. Whether it's office, personal, just do whatever makes you happy. Seriously. Do I think Becky returns at the Rumble? No. I doubt it. I'd be surprised. I think Brock returns at the Rumble. Now people think Roman Reigns may be facing The Rock this year, which I think is a little too soon. Some people think The Rock will show up at the Royal Rumble. We'll see. I mean, the Rumble is next weekend. We don't have to wait too much longer. By the way, I don't know if it's going to be me only doing a recap for the Royal Rumble or if Mish is going to join me. I already have a template for 2 and for 1, so I will talk to him over the weekend. I haven't talked to him since Tuesday, so I will touch base with him to see, and I'll let everybody know by early next week what the plans are. But I'm going to get out of here. We'll talk more tomorrow, which actually will be today. So if you're around, join me 10:05 p.m. Eastern, right after SmackDown. We'll talk SmackDown. We'll talk the quarter-hour ratings. We'll talk about Undertaker. And the one quote that seems to be, I don't know if it's triggering social media or if people are just using it to get this. Made one quote on Joe Rogan's podcast that apparently offends a lot of people today with video games. That's the little hint, video games. Get the fuck out of here. We'll talk about that. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about some of the conversations we had tonight. We'll see. That'll be up to all of you who tune in live. So again, as I said, on your way out, if you enjoyed the show, I'd appreciate if you give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the show, give it a thumbs down. just be interactive. I started responding earlier today, the comments from yesterday. As you know, I am 100% interactive with everybody on the channel. I will not let that lack. So your comments will always be seen and reacted to. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Friday night already. So everyone, for those in the United States, get a good night's sleep. For those overseas, enjoy your day. And I will catch you all again in about 20 hours for the Don Tony Show. Good night, everybody. Thank you for a great night. And awesome, man. I love 3 weeks. I love the direction of this show. Great combo tonight. I love the fact that people aren't getting bored at some of the topics because you know what you're expecting to go into Thursday night. It's not just about wrestling. We can have some serious talk, some laughs, poke fun. Nothing is off the table. So maybe we could call it On the Table. Nothing is off the... No, I'll think about it. I'm still checking out everybody's ideas. We'll come up with something. So thank you, SoFly. Thank you for those kind words. I really do appreciate that. So everyone be well, and I'll see you all Friday night. Good night.